This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Welcome back, everybody, to Wrestling Omakase. It is episode number 118. This week, I have not one, not two, but three guests on to discuss three shows. I guess that kind of worked out. I didn't do that on purpose, actually. But we're going to talk about three big Japanese wrestling shows from this past weekend. New Japan's Power Struggle show, DDT Ultimate Party, and Big Japan Ryogokutan. So joining me, first of all, is once again Taylor. Hi, Taylor.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. What have you been up to since like I talked to you 9 days ago?
I've been watching a lot of wrestling is what I've been up to, as we'll find out in this episode.
Yes. And you went to what the fuck's it called? Kinokuniya today? And they did not have the Hiromu issue?
Correct.
Yes. Very disappointing. They better have it by Friday, because that's where I'm going.
Well, I'll keep looking. They'll have it at some point, but I don't know when.
Of course, nobody listening probably knows what Kinokuniya is. It's a Japanese bookstore here in New York. So there you go. But yeah, that's about it, I guess. What else? Have you watched any anime lately, Taylor?
I haven't. Have you, since we last discussed on the podcast, have you watched Blood Plus?
No, I have not watched Blood Plus.
Well, how would you expect me to watch any anime if you won't watch the classic anime Blood Plus?
I think since we last talked about anime, I've watched probably a million shows, but Blood Plus is not one of them. So there you
Shame.
go. Also joining us this week is Thomas. Hello, Thomas.
What's up, John? How you doing?
What's up? When were you last on? I should look this up first, but I didn't.
It wasn't Peter Pan. Oh, it was the Kento Nomura All Japan match, and we did some New Japan too, I think.
So, what have you been up to since that time? That I don't
know? Nothing much. Yeah, got back into the swing of things. I had a little bit of a burnout from wrestling, and I'm just getting back to the swing of things with this show. And I was doing some catch up the past week, so that's been fun. I've watched an absurd amount of wrestling the past week, so good stuff.
Yeah. Have you watched any anime lately, Thomas?
That is a no, John.
That's a no. Okay. So, see, how am I going to have the people love the anime talk, but I never have any anime guests on, I guess.
You have an anime guest on like a solid 60% of the time, John.
Yeah, that is true. But it hasn't been in a while, though. So.
That's true.
All right. So thank you for coming on. Jack. Hello, Jack.
Hello.
Say hi. Yes. What was your last episode, sir?
That was the draft in which I was robbed, and the people did not appreciate my humor.
What? You were on the draft? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, remember I was a last-minute replacement for Paul?
He was the emergency.
Yeah. Okay. That would explain why I don't remember it, I guess.
I booked Fujita. Remember, is it all coming back now?
Did I win? How the fuck did I win that draft? I guess because I did the Joshi. I guess the
Joshi.
Yeah.
I underestimated the popularity of Joshi, I guess.
Well, you never should. Look, among the people listening to this show...
Jack, didn't you have like Katsuhiko Nakajima against Yoshihashi in a shoot fight on your card?
I did. That was the opener. It was good. I had Brock Lesnar versus Antonio Honda.
That is a good
I didn't win.
Yeah, maybe you did get robbed.
If you want you want to win, you got to book Joshi. You got to have half
Guess
the card
so.
to go. But yeah, so Jack, have you watched any anime lately?
I have not. Despite telling myself that I'm going to get into anime once every week, I have yet to make the plunge into the depths of the anime sea. I don't know.
So all three of you should make it like a homework assignment to watch Madoka. That's my recommendation. It's
What
only
is
like
this?
12. It's only like 12 episodes.
Ooh.
It's a very, very pleasant show about magical girls. You'll love it. So watch Madoka and then get back to me. In the meantime, I guess we're here to talk about wrestling. I guess we just get right into it. By the way, the Omakase year-end award ballots went out today, so all three of you got them. I sent them via Twitter DM to lots of people. I sent them to the Voice of Wrestling account and made sure to say it was only for Rich, not for Joe. Because Joe has not appeared on the show in this calendar year, so he's not going to ballot until he at least agrees to appear. He's still got like 2 months, and I don't know what to say. He doesn't seem to care that much, though. But yes, they want everybody. You better believe I gave one to Kevin Kelly. So we'll see if Kevin Kelly actually fills out a ballot. I can't wait to find out if Kevin Kelly fills out a ballot. I'm gonna guess no, but I hope I wake up to an email one day that's like Kevin Kelly has filled out, because I get like an email notification. So I hope I get one that like Kevin Kelly has filled out a ballot.
John, has anyone filled out a ballot yet?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I send them very early because it's like, it's early November, but I just like to get it out of the way. But I mean, I filled out my ballot just to like test it. So
right, yeah.
But I can always change my pick since I run the fucking thing. But yeah, I mean, like, so that's exciting. We're going to be year in review season soon. We have basically 2 episodes left, counting this one, because this week is obviously what the topics I just mentioned. Next week is a bunch more shows, and then I'm taking a week off because of Anime NYC. And then after that, we'll be starting the year in review series. That's very exciting. But yeah, so it's almost that time of year again here in Omakase. And if you weren't around last year for the year in review series, that's a fun trip. So definitely strap in for that, I guess. In the meantime, we're here to talk about 3 shows. Let's just get right into them since there's, they're all very long. So we're going to start with New Japan Pro Wrestling Power Struggle, which took place on Sunday, November 3rd at the Osaka Prefectural Gym, the Ideon Arena, Osaka. It was a sellout of 5,558. Not unexpected there. So with this show in Big Japan, I'm going to start with the main event and work our way down, since the undercards of both these shows were not exactly thrilling stuff. So I figure we'll have little to say about them. With DDT, we will start at the bottom and work our way up, because the undercard in that show was actually pretty exciting. But first of all, we begin here with the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Jay White makes his first defense in 2740 with the Blade Runner to retain his title. I want to start with you on this, Taylor, because I know you're not a big. Maybe I'm getting this wrong, but you're not a huge Jay White fan, I think.
I'm not. I've gone sort of throughout the year up and down on him. I was sort of big. I was sort of high on him earlier in the year, and as the year has gone on and he's gotten sort of more, I don't know if this is the right word, but more Bullet Club, I guess, with more interference and things like that, I've sort of fallen off the wagon.
Yeah. So what did you think of this match, Taylor?
I just, I thought it was very average. I'm sort of, as I just mentioned, sort of over the interference that seems to infect at sort of one New Japan wrestler at a time is the wrestler where all of their matches have the same interference. And now that's become Jay White, which I don't like. I get that, he's a heel and that's, how he's supposed to work, but that's not my kind of thing. So I just, and the outcome was never in doubt, which is another thing that hurt it. So just wasn't really a match for me.
Anything to add here, Jack?
Yeah, I'd concur with Taylor on that one. I probably dislike Jay White more than he does. Jay White's had a lot of matches this year I've enjoyed by themselves, but as a whole, watching him like the entire year has been sort of what has kept me from getting fully invested in this year in New Japan. And I also agree that I like his interference spots. Like, it's just, I'm so sick of this shit. And I would just love if he could just wrestle a straight match, but incorporate heel tactics into it without needing to do the exact same. Oh, here's the Bullet Club again. After I just watched 25 minutes, and then we're just going to waste time with Bullet Club shit at the end. That's really my thoughts on it. I gave it like 2.5 stars.
Wow, you're a little harsh on it. What do you think, Thomas?
Pass. No. Yeah, I don't know. I had no motivation to watch this match. This was like sitting in an open tab on my browser a couple hours before we started to record this show, and I was like, do I really want to watch this match? And it was like, it wasn't bad. It was just there. Like, I think it went a little long. The interference stuff was kind of annoying. I'd give it like, I don't know. I'd slap 3.25 on it and call it a day. But yeah, I don't know.
3.25 Yeah, 3.25 is the same rating I gave it. I mean, it wasn't bad by any stretch, but I was disappointed quite a bit because unlike everybody else on this podcast, apparently, I actually did feel like I was turning a corner with Jay White in a positive way where, I thought the Ibushi G1 final was awesome. I thought the Naito match in Kobe was awesome. So, he had 2 back-to-back, like 4.5-star matches with me. I might have gone 4.25 on the Ibushi one, but it's not important. 2 very strong matches. And, I was kind of hoping he would keep the momentum going here. And I don't think he did really. I mean, there are parts of it I liked. All the Shibata interaction and stuff I thought was good. But, like, the best thing of the match was a guy that wasn't actually in the match. So it's not saying a lot for the match itself. So I can't really, see going higher than like 3.25. The finisher reversal spam they do, it looked smooth. It just probably went on a little bit too long. And then all the bullshit started after Goto hit the GTR. So, the stuff with Kenta and Shibata was good. Maybe a little overbooked, but I got why they felt like they had to do it since, it's probably setting up something with Kenta and Goto and Shibata for Wrestle Kingdom, whatever that may be. But, it was fine. It was pretty good. It's about as strong as I can go on it. But yeah, so that was the main event. And we're getting like the most negative thing out of the way, at least for me, on this show, because I thought the rest of the show was like really awesome. But this main event being a bit disappointing is what kept me from like really, like, because up until this point, my feeling was like, if this main event delivers, like Power Struggle came out of nowhere to be like a show of the year contender. And obviously the main event did not deliver to that extent. So I can't go there. After the match itself, there was a segment, with the 4 of them. I think it's already, you probably have heard about this segment, and even if you didn't watch the show, it's got a lot of talk. This is the only thing on the show I was spoiled on, because I kept myself, completely, away from spoilers on anything else on the show. So I'd done a really good job avoiding them. Even, Hiromu's return and everything, I was totally unspoiled. But I was spoiled on the fact that there was a segment here and that it wasn't good. That's basically what I knew. And at first, I was like, well, I don't really get what people are talking about because I was afraid, being a huge Naito fan, my big fear was like, okay, did Naito come off badly or did the crowd not pop for him? And when he comes out, so Jay White like takes the mic, he challenges Okada and Ibushi because he's like, okay, I'm the IC champion. I'm going to face the winner of you two on 1-5 and become double champ. And he calls them both out. And Naito comes out instead. The crowd goes nuts when Naito comes out. They cheer. This is not a great crowd. And they cheer as loud as they cheered all night long. Or I guess for Hiromu's return, the only thing they cheered louder. So they were like very into that. And, when he tells Jay, I'm going to need the IC belt back, they go crazy for that again. But then everything after that, it just falls off the rails. I mean, Okada comes out and like fucking buries the concept of doing this fucking double title match. And he does it in like a funny way. So the crowd basically agrees with him. And it just comes off very awkward. And I mean, before that, Ibushi comes out and like gets very little reaction and just, he feels like an afterthought in this whole thing, which is obviously not good considering he's a G1 winner and he's main eventing on 1-4. His promo was very like stiff and wooden as his promos can be sometimes. It was just like, I too want to be double champion. But yeah, then Okada buries the whole concept of double titles just fucking leaves in the middle of his promo. Like the camera cuts away and then cuts back and he's like already outside the ring leaving. And you're just like, what the fuck happened? And then Kota leaves too. And then Jay White basically says, I want my confetti. I'm not going to fight you, Naito. Get out of my ring. And Naito just leaves, which is very weird. And the confetti happens and the show ends on a weird downer of a note. So not a great segment to end the show. And that's, definitely was a little bit of a problem here for double titles. I will say, I think people freaked out a little bit too much from this segment and acted like, the entire concept of double champion would never be the same. And they did run the poll that Okada asked for. And, the double title thing, like, it was just like, do you want a double title match at the Dome? And double title won like 15,000 to 9,000. So clearly, like, the crowd reacting to Okada's promo was not like this fucking death knell for doing double title the way some people thought it was. Do you guys have anything to add on this fucking weird ass segment? Anybody?
I thought Naito kind of covered. I thought Naito kind of came off as a geek with just like walking out of the ring, as Jay White was like, "Hey, everyone, get out of the ring." Like I thought that kind of made Naito come off poorly. I don't know. That's my only thing. I think the double title thing is going to end up working. We'll see what the Dome numbers do, especially the second night. But I feel more confident than not that it ends up working out.
I mean, what people don't realize with the double titles and the attendance and stuff is like night 2, is ahead, or night 1 is ahead of where last year's was, and night 2 is like right behind last year. So like, if they manage to sell, like 35,000 tickets on each night, or like 39 and 35 or something, they sold 70,000 tickets. I mean, I don't know how you can really say the double title thing wasn't a success. I mean, you could question if they need to do it. You can be like, I mean, my personal opinion is, and we had this out in the VW cycle today, I don't think if you just had done it with like Naito Okada one night for the heavyweight title and some other fucking match for the IC title on the other night, like, I don't know, Tanahashi and Jericho's for the IC or something, I think the other night would get fucking killed. Like, I think everybody would buy tickets for the one night and watch Okada Naito, and the other night would do like 25,000. Whereas this way, you feel like you have to go to both nights to see the entire thing. You go to the traditional date on 1-4. You see, if you're a Naito fan, you have to go see him beat fucking Jay White to get to the 1-5 main event. And then you already buy your ticket for 1-5 because if you're a Naito fan, you think, we'll get past Jay White and we'll be in that main event. But you don't know for sure, so you still have to go to both nights. I think it made a lot of sense the way they did it. I get why people don't like it, but I think it was as good of a plan as any to sell tickets to 2 domes. So that's my thoughts on it. I don't know, Jack, do you have anything to add here?
Yeah, I generally agree with that. It did come across to me how little Kota Ibushi seemed over compared to the rest of them, and that was a little startling, but otherwise I thought the angle was fine. And I'm into the double title idea. I think it'll add some juice to both nights, and it's New Japan trying something different, which you sometimes don't see from them. So I think that's a little exciting. So I'm definitely excited to see how it's going to turn out.
So if I had to say, by the way, one thing I think New Japan has fucked up during this build that they don't get I don't see anybody blaming them for. They should not have had Evil pin Ibushi like twice in a row in those tag matches leading up to King of Pro Wrestling. I think that really hurt his momentum after the G1. He might feel like an afterthought no matter what. It just looked weird that Kota just got dropped by the fucking STF and pinned twice in a row like that. It just felt like the man had no momentum at all. But like, I would have had one. If you want them to win both those tag matches, like, why not have Sonata roll up Okada? Like, it's just a fucking flash pin. He beats people with flash pins anyway. I don't know. It was weird, but that's my one complaint there. But yeah, so that's the main event in the post-match segment. Let's move over to Will Ospreay versus Bushi for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Why don't you start us off on this one, Thomas? What did you think of Ospreay and Bushi?
I was up and down on this match while I was watching it. I was at one point kind of ready to come on and bury it. There was this point after it was after one of the ref bumps, and Ospreay's facial expressions just bugged the shit out of me. Like, I know you have the same complaints a lot of the times, John. It's just his facial expressions can come across really goofy a lot of the time. He actually did a really good job at not coming off goofy in the post-match segment, but after the ref bump, I mean, I was just like, I was ready to come on and bury it. And then him and Bushi just went out and had like an incredible closing stretch and completely won me back over after what was a pretty good bulk of the match. So yeah, I ended up enjoying it at the end, despite my complaints. But yeah, the closing stretch was just killer. And I bought one of the Bushi near falls, which like I would have never done or never expected myself to do coming in. So they won me over in that sense for sure.
What was your star rating?
My star rating, I went 4 stars and 1/4.
Oh, okay. Taylor, what'd you think of Bushi and Mr. William?
I liked it as well. I mean, I think the thing that's going to be talked about, in the future, a lot of New Japan matches sort of blur together in my brain just because there's so many and there's so many that are great. So sometimes, it's 6 months out and someone goes, oh, remember, X versus Y, and I can't even think of a single thing from the match. But the missed kiss sequence, I think, is going to be one of those things that people, remember for a long time about this match. And I thought it was a really cool sequence. I thought the match was pretty great. I went the same. I went 4 1/4. So yeah, I liked it.
The missed kiss of death thing. That's one of those spots that's like, it's almost too stupid, but for some reason it goes back around to being awesome. It's like it's right on the line. Like it could have been too stupid, but for some reason it just works and was like really cool. Especially when I like that he blew the mist back in his face, and Bushi didn't really sell it because he sold it to a degree, but then he recovered faster than other people would recover from misting, and you could just in your head you could just be like, well, he has a fucking mask on, so the mask like protects him to a degree. So I thought that worked. It was cool. And then obviously, like Tom was just saying, the closing stretch is really good. Jack, what do you think of Will and Bushi?
Oh, I loved it a lot. It was definitely my match of the night for sure. The missed kiss stealing spot was, I agree, it's a little goofy, but I think it worked in the end, and it ultimately ended up being something where I was like, oh, that's really clever. And then the MX near the end, I almost bought that as the finish, even though I was spoiled on the match. But I think they did a really good job selling it for both of them. And really the last 5 minutes of the match as a whole was just incredible, and what really vaulted it up to like a 4.5 star match for me. And ultimately, I think it's my favorite Bushi match of his that I've seen. And for Ospreay, I mean, I have no shy opinion that I really enjoy his work probably more than any of you. But yeah, this was just another feather in his cap, and just a really great match all around. And like I said, it was my match of the night, and really loved it.
Yeah, it was also my match of the night. I was also 4 1/4, so we almost had like unanimity here, but Jack had to go and ruin it. But what are you gonna do? That extra quarter star. But yeah, the Bushi I thought was awesome in this. I mean, everybody knows you don't need a fucking podcast to praise Will Ospreay. You got a million of them anyway. But Bushi I thought was fucking great, and he's a guy that I feel like never gets enough credit for coming up big in these kind of spots. Like, he has a lot of these like shockingly great performances when he's put in these kind of big spots. So, I mean, there was like he does not try. He doesn't try very hard in multi-man tags. So I definitely get that complaint. But when you put him in these big singles matches, you can get like some shockingly good performances. There's one point where he like countered the Stormbreaker into that like backslide, like, and then like flip over thing he does, the Bushi roll, which like that got like the biggest fucking reaction. Like Osaka apparently thought he was going to win the fucking junior heavyweight title with a weird cradle, because they went crazy for that. And then again, when he hit that MX, the near fall, get the crowd like completely insane. And then Ospreay finally did counter another MX into a cutter in midair, which was really cool. And then we got he hit the hidden blade, the super Oz cutter off the corner, and the Stormbreaker for the pin. So this was really good. 4 1/4 for me as well. After that, of course, we got Hiromu Takahashi's return. I am not ashamed to come before man and God and say I cried a little bit when Hiromu came out. I'm so happy. I was so happy that he finally came out. I was not spoiled. They did an amazing job like teasing us, where it's like, Will gets the mic. He's like, oh, he gives the promo. Everybody knows he knew he was going to give if Hiromu was coming back, where he's like, oh, there's nobody left to challenge me. But he starts to leave the ring because no one comes out. So you're like, okay, is Hiromu really going to come out? Then the lights go out, and then they air that time bomb thing from 3 years ago. And, the fucking timer comes up, and it has, the 62 days to the Tokyo Dome. So it makes you think for a second when you're watching it, if you're not spoiled, you're like, oh, they're not. I mean, you're still relieved that Hiromu's coming back at all, but you're like, oh, he's not coming out tonight. They're just saying he's going to be at the Dome. And then it cuts to that, cartoon bomb, and fucking Naru, the cat, comes up on the screen. And if you're watching the Japanese broadcast, the female announcer just screams the cat's name, which is really funny. But yeah, and then the cat lights the fuse, and the cats all dance. And I know Joe Lanza wasn't thrilled about this, but I thought it was awesome, and the crowd was going crazy. But yeah, and then Hiromu comes out, and it was he gave the kind of fucking promo that only he can give. I mean, clearly, who else can come out with 2 stuffed animals and give them each to one of the commentators? Moana Collection AT is fucking crying as hard as I was. And he gets in the ring and he gives this amazing promo about basically making fun of the idea that he would work a safer style. That was incredible. And then he takes all these bumps. He takes one of the guardrail. He takes a bunch in the ring and acts like he's dead. But then he does that neck bridge and the fucking Bray Wyatt crab walk. And he asks for the mic while he's in the crab walk. It was just incredible. And someone mentioned it before. I don't remember who. I'm sorry. That Will Ospreay didn't oversell this, which he really could have. And I was very scared he would. But he managed to sell this man is crazy without making a lot of Will Ospreay faces. So that was good. But yeah, so we got the challenge for 1-4. They hugged, and an incredible segment ended. So anybody got any thoughts on Hiromu's return? No.
Yeah, I'll go. It was awesome. I was spoiled on it, unfortunately, but it still made me tear up a little. Just the pure screaming from the crowd. You could hear multiple people screaming, and that was a really special moment. And ultimately, I don't know how anyone people can criticize Hiromu's goofy act or his cats or whatever, and it's whatever, you could not like it. But to think that it's preventing him from getting over on a meaningful level, I've seen some takes, is just fucking ridiculous. Because the crowd, they are so into everything Hiromu does, and it was so obvious during this segment. It was probably one of my favorite segments I've seen in a long while, probably since the Shibata angle. And Ospreay and Takahashi has got to be probably my most anticipated match for the 2 nights in the Tokyo Dome.
I mean, it sure adds a lot of hype. I mean, it's another really, really major match. Anything to add here, Taylor?
No, I think everything's been covered, at least of my thoughts.
Thomas?
Yeah, I'm with Taylor there. Yep.
Okay. So, very excited to have him back. Very happy. I don't know what else to say there, but the world is better to have Hiromu Takahashi back, and I'm very happy. The third from the top, the never open weight title, Kenta and Tomohiro Ishii. Taylor, you can start us off. What do you think of Kenta and Ishii?
I thought this match was really good. My only problem was it seemed like they got stuck sort of in third gear, sort of partway in. I kept expecting it to escalate or go to the, finishing sequence. And it felt like for a long time, it was just sort of in this land of, okay, we're going to, be hitting each other, and we're going to keep... and I was sort of like, is this match coming to an end? What was happening? I didn't really understand. I mean, I still went 4 1/4, so it's not that I didn't like it, but I just felt, it started off really strongly. I was really excited, and then it sort of hit a peak and couldn't get past that for a while until the very end. So that would be my one complaint, but as I said, 4 1/4, so I still really enjoyed it.
Anything you want to add here, Jack?
Yeah, I also enjoyed it, but it never really hit that level I wanted it to hit, considering the two guys. I ended up going about 4 stars on it. And when you compare it in terms of a beefy 2 guys hitting and kicking and hurting each other very badly, we're going to be talking about another match later that definitely filled more of what I want out of that type of match than this one did. But I still thought it was pretty good. Like I said, I went 4 stars, but it's not a match I'll think about much after we finish this podcast.
Thomas?
I mean, y'all saying that like, yeah, this was all right and going 4 stars and 4.25. No, yeah, I thought it was really good. I went 4 stars. It was a lot of fun. I like dudes, hitting the shit out of each other. So yeah, 4 stars for me, except I see that as a positive.
I also went 4 flat, and I also have to say it was a little, what's it called? It was a little disappointing for me because I just felt like they were on the path at Royal Quest to have a better match than a 4-star match. Not that there's anything wrong with a fucking 4-star match, but like, I just thought they were on the path to have a better match than that before, Kenta got his bell rung. But after that, other than that, I still thought it was a really good match. I mean, it just maybe there was like a couple things that took it down a little bit, like Kenta's heat segment went on a little long, and it just kind of felt like it wasn't as engaging as it could have been. But like once Ishii started like no selling his kicks and like fired back up at those throat chops, it was really cool. And then there was like another cool spot where Kenta like countered the sliding forearm into the game over. So there was a bunch of stuff that was that game over was like crossface like submission he does. But yeah, I mean there was some really cool stuff. I like that Kenta won it really definitively. He hits to go to sleep. He's like, okay, that's not enough for me actually, and he pulls down the knee pad and does another go to sleep and just pins him. Ishii's kind of been in a spot lately where he's like getting guys ready for bigger matches. He did that with Taichi at the end of the G1 where he was getting him ready for Naito. And put him over strong and clean. And here he puts over Kenta strong and clean because Kenta's got something at the Dome, whether it's a match with Shibata or with Goto with Shibata's quarter. I mean, that's a big match either way. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess I can understand if you're an Ishii fan, you want to see him get pushed higher than this, but it's clearly a good use for him because he can always lose matches and he'll always still be over. So, but yeah, really good match, 4 stars flat for me, and we'll see where Kenta goes from here for the Dome. Match number 6 for the evening was the Super Junior Tag League Finals, Roppongi 3K against Desperado and Kanemaru. You can start us off here, Thomas. What do you think of the Super Junior Tag League Finals?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to end up being an outlier here. I just never really got into it. It was a good match. I would say probably like 3.25, 3.5 stars. But it left me wanting more. I feel like it could have maybe used a little bit more time to hit that next gear. So yeah, maybe slightly disappointed, maybe a victim of expectations in some respects, because I feel like it got talked up a little bit. But yeah, I'd say like 3.5 for me. Pretty solid match. Yeah.
What do you think, Taylor?
Well, I'll say Thomas is not the outlier. Because I felt just about the same way. I was at about 3.5. Didn't dislike it, but didn't really have that many strong feelings about it. Thought it was, fairly fine. I do worry sometimes about Roppongi 3K, who seem to win the titles. They defend them once or twice. They lose the titles. They go down to the bottom. And then they seemingly just come up to the top, win the titles again. It just seems to be this sort of bouncing pattern where they never really hold the titles for that long, but they're never really ever out of the title picture for that long. So it's a bit strange in terms of what really they're trying to do with them and, how soon if they want to break them up. So I guess that's my only question is, if Roppongi 3K wins them back at the Dome, which maybe they don't, what do they just hold them for a couple more defenses and then drop them early in the year again? Or do they finally get a longer title reign with them?
I think my feeling on this is I think the next reign is it for them. Like, I think they're going to go
to singles.
Yeah. I think they're going to go to junior singles after this. Like, I think like this, 3 years in a row winning the junior tag league, you've done about as much as you can do here. At this point, maybe they get maybe this next run is like a longer one. Maybe they hold them like through June or something, which will be really long compared to their other reigns. But like, I think after that, like once you start to get to next year at the Dome, you want to have them transitioning to something to like, being more junior single stars. But I think the transition will really start to happen in the best of the Super Junior this year. But I guess we'll see either way. Like, I think someone might turn on somebody or, who knows. But I think in past experience, like I don't remember how long Team No Limit was together, but No Limit was weird because they were a junior tag team and they went to heavyweight tag and then they went to, heavyweight singles. And, that's like another recent example of like a 2 native star junior tag team. I don't think that will happen with Roppongi 3K. I think they will go from junior tag team to junior singles just because the heavyweight division seems so much more stacked than the junior division right now. But who knows? It could be the same thing as No Limit. They could move up to heavyweight tag next. No Limit, by the way, was Naito and Yujiro, because I just realized in my head there's a lot of people who probably don't know that. Jack, do you have any thoughts on this match, or I guess for Roppongi 3K's future?
On the match, I'd say Thomas isn't the outlier. In fact, I'd say that opinion's the majority because I also didn't really care for the match. Probably about 3 1/4. I don't really remember much from it, so it was a fine match. And on Roppongi 3K's future, I'd agree with the thought that their next run is their last run for sure. I think that by the end of next year that they are fully like broken up and in singles, because I think that's the path they would go as singles. And me personally, I think Sho is the star and that Yo is sort of like a upper mid card guy. But I guess we'll see, because it's going to happen sooner rather than later.
See, I've heard that a lot. I sort of disagree. I think Yo has a lot more potential than people give him credit for it, but I guess we'll see. I mean, look, Sho, what people always forget with Sho is he really struggles to cut a promo. I mean, Yo is not like the best promo, but like he has a lot more, he has more mic skills than Sho does. And I don't know about in-ring charisma. I mean, Yo, there's a bigger connection with Yo than people realize, I think. So I think Yo is, not that Sho won't be a star. I think Sho, will be a star, but I want to stick up for Yo a little bit because I think there's more potential there than people give him credit for. But as far as the match itself, I guess I'm the fucking outlier because I thought this match was awesome. I went 4 stars on it. I like that they start about the attack on the ramp. They leave Sho laying dead there, and they work over Sho's back forever. But I thought the selling was really good. The spot where like Kanemaru like spit the whiskey in his face while Desperado had him in the numero dos, that submission like stretch muffler thing he does. That was fucking awesome. And then there was just a really good closing stretch that really put it over the top. If I have any complaint here, like maybe the last 3K and Desperado felt a little out of nowhere, but I still thought it was an awesome match. So I went 4 stars on it. The one thing I will say, it's kind of ridiculous that Marty Asami just calls for the fucking bell with Sho yelling, like laying there on the ramp. Like they just attacked them 2-on, like before the bell, left this man to die, and now you're just like, okay, well, I guess you're fighting them 1-on-2, sir. Ring the bell. Like, what the fuck? What is that, Marty? Like, wait for Sho to at least be in the ring. Anyway, Marty Asami needs to be stopped. And speaking of people need to be stopped, ELP and Ishimori laid them out at the end, and left them laying and took the trophies. Do we have any fucking ELP defenders on this podcast? Because I just want to say right now, I'm so fucking sick of that man. I know it's like he's been getting praised a bunch on like the flagship lately and stuff, and people saying his thing with Ospreay was good or whatever. But like, I don't think he gets enough. His in-ring is whatever. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's terrible. I think he's just kind of there for me. His fucking promos. Like, if you watch those backstage promos every time, he is a bad promo. He does not have, like, a good heel cadence. He just sounds like an annoying little bitch. And, like, I don't mean that in, like, a good heel way. He's like, fucking go away, Heat, with me. Like, I need to start fucking skipping his promos. Because it's like, I don't know. Like, he's just probably my most hated act in New Japan right now. And like, I really hope Roppongi 3K just fucking kick his ass in the dome, which is probably good. That's what they want. But I want them to kick his ass. I want him to go away forever because I'm so fucking sick of him. I don't know. Anyone want to stick up for ELP?
I don't know. I think he's I think his in-ring's fine. His character, I can either take it or leave it. I don't hate him as much as I do like a guy like Jay White in terms of wanting them to get beat and go away. But that's the best ringing endorsement I can give him is that he's fine and inoffensive, except for that one time earlier this year. Kind of
Jay White at least is a really good promo. Like Jay White's promos are awesome. So even if you don't like his in ring, I think his promos are great. Whereas ELP, I mean, I welcome this comparison. Jay White's promos are great. ELP's promos are fucking terrible. In ring, I think Jay White's a lot better than ELP. But even if you think they're like whatever, they're both whatever, or even ELP's better, I think Jay White just destroys them on promos. I don't know. Any other ELP thoughts before I move on?
I'd agree
He
there.
sucks.
What'd you say?
The dude has go away heat with me. Like
Yeah.
that Osprey match that's getting hype. I was like 2 3/4 on that, man.
Yeah, I was like 3.25 or something. I don't know. Wasn't good. Taylor, you've been quiet on the ELP subject.
I will never defend ELP.
No ELP defenders here. All right, so match number 5, Naito and Taichi. I might be on an island on this one based on what like a lot of the grapple ratings and stuff have been. I thought this was fucking awesome. Naito charges down the ramp. He fucking takes the suit off before he even gets to the ring to show how serious he is. There's no fucking slow undressing. They start with like a fucking slugfest. They shove the ref down. They go to the floor and like brawl all over the fucking crowd. After all that complaining people did about, Suzuki and Liger last month at King of Pro Wrestling and how they had that build where they said they were going to kill each other and then they didn't kill each other at all to start. I thought this would get praised a lot more, where they the entire month all they did was say they were going to kill each other, so they came out and tried to kill each other. I mean, they just beat the shit out of each other. So I thought that was awesome. Taichi at one point counters this top rope Rana from Naito and does this gigantic super power bomb, and Naito sells it like he's dead. And Taichi really gets to look like a badass here. He just completely no-sells Naito strikes. He drops on his head with a backdrop. He dodges the Naito flying forearm, drops on his head with another backdrop. And then, I couldn't believe it was only the 10-minute mark at this point. We've already seen all these huge bombs and everything. And then the finish I thought was awesome too, where Taichi, Naito hits the running Destino to take back control, but Taichi kicks out because everybody kicks out of that move. Then Taichi reverses the real Destino into a Black Mephisto attempt. It's blocked by Naito. He hits the Black Mephisto on Taichi, which like shocked the crowd. Like you can hear the crowd like audibly react because Naito never really does that fucking finish with that thing. And then he hits the Destino for the pin. Only went about 13 minutes. I thought it was an awesome fucking sprint. I went 4.25 on it. Don't care if you think otherwise. You can come fight me. Actually, I just realized someone on here went even higher, so I guess we'll get to that. But 4.25, I thought it was their second best match, right behind the New Beginning and Sapporo match, and better than the G1 match. So Taylor, you liked this even more than I did.
I did. I went 4 3/4.
Woo-hoo, let's go.
I just thought it was great. It's exact, as you said, it was quick. It was only 13 minutes, which I feel like sometimes people say, it's a drawback because it wasn't, a huge epic match. But, sometimes in this company where the matches seem to be getting longer and longer and not shorter and shorter, I'm a big fan of matches where they go out and go 100% for 13 minutes and then get out of the way. Big fan of people dropping each other on their heads and kicking each other in the face. So that's really my thing. And I thought it was great and I loved it.
Well, that's all you need to say. So is it on your match of the year list or anything?
Well, no, but also I don't include New Japan on my match of the year list.
I forgot you do that.
I don't know if it would be. I would have to look through my list. I think it would either be on the list or it would be close.
Okay. What do you think here, Jack? Give me your thoughts. So you're the one that I think is most likely to hate it. So.
Oh, no, I liked it. See, Taichi normally doesn't land with me. Naito I usually like. But the match as a whole, the crowd brawling sort of was, I was like, I don't know what everyone's talking about. But once they got back in the ring and this is a bunch of head drops and stuff and the hot finisher trading, I really enjoyed that part of the match. And probably one of my more favorite Taichi matches of the year, behind the Ishii match for sure. But I went 4 stars on it, so I hated it compared to Taylor. But overall, I thought it was a really good match. And considering I needed to watch 3 shows over a course of like 48 hours, I definitely appreciated that it didn't go an interminably long 30 minutes like the main event did. So yeah, plus all around.
What did you think of this one, Thomas?
Really fun sprint. I ended up going 4 stars. I think it was probably my least favorite of their 3 matches this year, although I enjoyed all 3. So I mean, that's not a bad thing. So yeah, fun sprint. It left me wanting more in some respects, which is in some ways refreshing because I feel like New Japan sometimes does the opposite. But I guess I'm impossible to please in that way. But yeah, excuse me. Yeah, for the 4 stars flat for me. Really fun sprint.
All right, so we're all in agreement. I was worried there's gonna be somebody like I know Rich at the flagship like give it 3 1/4 or something. So I was afraid someone was gonna like hot take us or something. But yeah, so that's all the major matches. The undercard stuff. Match 4 was Okada and Yoshihashi against Ibushi and Tanahashi. I'm just gonna like ask, I guess, if anyone has any thoughts on any of these matches. Does anyone want to throw anything about this match? Okay, go ahead, fellow gister.
Jericho video was cool, I guess.
I don't know why Thomas says it said he wanted to speak, but he's still muted. So I don't know if he can't unmute himself or something, but that is weird.
Oh no, that was
silence.
No, that was a
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. I had everything on the undercard, 3 stars to 3 1/4 sort of range. Fun little undercard. I like the Yoshihashi Hope spot in this match. That was kind of cute.
Yoshi was really bad in this match. I mean, let's be real. I mean, he was really what fucking killed it. He worked a lot of it, and it was very dull. I mean, what am I like Yoshihashi like as a human being. He seems like a very nice guy, but he's not a very good professional wrestler. But
I just don't like his face.
Yeah, I mean, I gave this 3 stars. It was fine. I mean, the end part where Okada's like, "Get him, Yoshi." It's like that's almost too stupid. Like Yoshihashi's not paying Tanahashi. It was nobody was gonna buy that. But it just didn't really work for me. That was probably the most exciting part of the match, but it was just kind of there. So 3 stars. Mostly because I thought the Okada Ibushi exchange at the start had good energy, which was a good sign because this feud has not had good energy at all so far. And then we got the Jericho video where he beat up some California indie guys and challenged Tanahashi for 1-5. That was amazing. And the one thing that was hilarious was like Tanahashi's reaction, where like Jericho's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna end your career." And Tanahashi's like, "I'm free on January 5th. Yay!" Like he's all happy, and he goes backstage and fucking sings a song about what the fuck was the song about? Now I don't remember. I don't remember what Tanahashi's song is about. It's something about love. I don't even remember. But he was so fucking happy to have this challenge. So yeah, that was funny. But there you go. January 5th, Tanahashi and Jericho. Match 3, Sonata, Evil, Shingo against Suzuki, Zack, and Archer. The only thing I note I have here is Shingo and Suzuki had a strike exchange. That was the highlight. And Sonata got another flash pin over Zack, which I thought was setting up a title match for like fucking San Jose or something. And it's actually setting up a title match in fucking Rev Pro. Who gives a shit? Why do I give a shit? I watch fucking Rev Pro. So anyway, that was disappointing. But Archer did challenge Finlay on the mic here for a U.S. title match in San Jose. If anyone wants to say something, speak now or hold your peace. Okay.
Shingo against Suzuki at Wrestle Kingdom. If we get that match, I'll be a very happy man.
Okay. Match 2, Ishimori and ELP against Rocky and Eagles. This was all right. I went like 2 3/4. A little slow early. The crowd took a while to get into it, but a decent closing stretch. Nothing really to add here, I guess, unless anyone wants to throw something in. And the opener, Volador, Teton, TJP, and Clark Connors beat the team of Liger, Taguchi, Tiger Mask, and Uemura. TJP pinned Uemura and 5:43 the detonation kick. This was fine, 3 1/4. Actually, this was pretty fun while it lasted. It was like all action, but nothing too special.
Yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. I probably went like 3.5 on it.
Okay. So overall, Power Struggle, I would call this a really good show. Better than King of Pro Wrestling. So probably the best thing they've done since the G1. This is where like I'm really confused by people being like, "Oh, the post G1 time is so awful every year." I thought this feud was pretty good. I mean, Destruction Kobe had a really awesome main event. King of Pro Wrestling had a bunch of really good stuff, and this show was really good, other than a kind of boring main event. So I don't know. I think the post G1 in New Japan this year was actually pretty good. That's my hot take. And I
don't think that's that crazy of a take. I think in ring it's actually been really good. But for some reason, I've really struggled to get into it.
Well, because everything's very predictable. Still,
Right, exactly. Yeah. I think that's definitely part of it. But yeah, I think in ring wise, at the very least, it's very good. I think New Japan in ring, if you're looking strictly in ring, I think they've kind of lapped the field this year in terms of quality. But at the same time, I don't really feel excited to watch a lot of their shows as of late. So it's this weird dichotomy in my mind of like, I know the matches are going to be good when I watch them, but part of me is like, do I really want to watch this? Because everything feels, I don't know, the booking has felt predictable to some extent since the G1, especially. And I'm probably not giving them enough credit for the first half of the year. It's recency bias creeping in, but that's my hot take is that while New Japan, I think, still in-ring wise is my favorite promotion in the world, they're like very quickly slipping in terms of like my actual interest in sitting down and watching one of their shows, which is odd.
Here's what I'll answer to that. I agree to a degree with the booking and stuff like that, but Wrestle Kingdom, I'm now very excited, and I can't wait to see it. So that's good. And like it actually feels terrible. I have to wait 2 months to see all that stuff. And if it goes with like Naito winning both belts or Ibushi winning both belts, like I have no fucking clue where they're going at that point. Like as long as they pick one of those two results, as long as it's not fucking Okada winning again. I mean, I don't even think Jay White's a possibility, so I'm not really including that. But as long as it's not Okada winning again and being on top, which is, you know, very played out at this point, as long as it's Naito or Ibushi, there's a million different ways they could go, and I have no idea where they're going. So that's very exciting. So I don't know, anything to add about power struggle or any of these topics?
Not for me.
Yeah, I agree with what Thomas was saying. Like general New Japan malaise. This was definitely a show I was least excited to watch out of the three that we watched for the show. But at the end of the day, I'd say it's like a solid 7 or 8 in terms of show. Like it's a 4-star show or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it was a good show.
I would give it like a 9.
Okay.
I mean, I thought it was a really awesome show. Maybe 8.5, but it was a really, really good show. If that fucking main event delivered, it would have been like a 10. But I mean, between all those 4-star matches and then
I agree that if the main event delivered, I did hate it.
Yeah, and then like Hiromu returning, which is like not just my favorite moment of the year, maybe one of my favorite moments ever. So a lot of cool stuff here. But yeah, that's New Japan right now. Really quickly before we move on to DDT, just the stuff that's been announced. This Saturday is a show in San Jose, believe it or not. It is Kazuchika Okada and Will Ospreay against Ibushi and the Amazing Red is the main event. That's a match, all right. Then Naito and Shingo Takagi against Jay White and Chase Owens, the semi-main. And you have Lance Archer and David Finlay for the U.S. title and El Phantasmo versus Show for the British Cruiserweight title. And a bunch of other tags. Not the most exciting lineup there, but it's not really that big of a show. So, whatever. But obviously, the big thing coming up, not the World Tag League. Which is,
we don't want to do a big World Tag League preview right now?
No, I'm good. Wrestle Kingdom. Is, 2 months away. There's a lot to dig into there. But obviously, at 1-4, we have the 2 title matches, Okada and Ibushi and White and Naito. Now we have Ospreay and Hiromu for the junior title announced. And we already had the Liger tag previously announced. 1-5, we know we're getting the double title match. We're also getting a losers match, which was a little surprising. The way it says it right here is the 2 non-champions after January 4th Intercontinental and Heavyweight Championship matches will meet. That match is going to be weird. Like, am I the only one who saw that and was like, what the fuck? Because it's like, let's say it's Okada and Ibushi, which I think is still the most likely outcome. Jay White and Okada and Naito. Jay White and Kota Ibushi is going to come out and have a sad little who's the biggest loser match. It's a little weird.
I assume that'll be to set up Ibushi Naito for the big Osaka Joe New Beginning show. You think?
Sure, but it's still a little weird though.
No, yeah, it is absolutely, but
it's going to be. I
think that's their idea, at least.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyone have any thoughts on this fucking losers bracket?
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit weird, for sure. But I still think the final on 1-5 is going to be Naito Ibushi. I don't know how hot of a take that is. So I would make the losers match Okada Jay White, and I could see Jay White losing that for them to do a big long redemption arc with Jay White. that I'm going to hate the entirety of, and then he wins it all in Wrestle Kingdom 15. I don't know, which I can't keep years straight. So that's where I think they're going with it. But yeah, it's a little bit weird. I mean, you have to, like, what are they fighting for? Third place? Like, what do they get? A U.S. title shot or something? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. Who knows? I guess we'll find out. 1 and 5 also has Tanahashi Jericho, and it has Phantasmo and Ishimori against Roppongi 3K for the junior tag titles. So obviously we still got stuff to add here with whatever they're going to do with Kenta and Shibata and Goto. We got, obviously we'll have the tag title, the heavyweight tag titles. I think probably Archer and Moxley for the US title. That seems likely, but I guess we'll see. There you go. That's Wrestle Kingdom so far. Shaping up to be really exciting. I'm very excited for Wrestle Kingdom this year, so we'll see what happens there. Let's move over to DDT for DDT's Ultimate Party 2019, the DDT group big gathering. This did 5,869 fans in Ryogoku, which is a little bit less than I expected, actually. I think, what did last year do? It did like 6,200, right?
It did like 6,250, and they claimed super no vacancy full house. So this was, I guess, probably like 90% full.
They claimed it again here. So super no vacancy.
Oh, they did.
I don't know if they had a bigger set or something, but
yeah, they could have just sold fewer, had fewer seats available.
Because I heard like a week before the show that there were only like several hundred tickets left. So that's why I was surprised by the 6,200 or whatever. But that, being so much less than 6,200, but whatever. But yeah, this was an awesome show. We're going to go through, probably the show of the weekend, even though we haven't seen Noah yet, but just an incredible show. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up, since the undercard here is actually pretty cool. The first under match, we can probably blow through these first two. Daichi Kazato, Masato Kamino, and Shuhei Washida defeating Matsunaga, Watase, and Keigo Nakamura. Kazato pinned Nakamura at the explosive axe bomber in 6:58. A very basic match, as you probably expect. The only note I made was Keigo is fast. So there you go. Anyone have anything to add about this really, really basic match?
Remember when Watase was in Renegades? Wasn't that a fun time in life? That's all I could think of. I'm like, he was in that stable and it totally failed, and now he's in the opening dark match.
Keigo got a good reaction, I thought. That's about it.
No, but nothing to add, Jack.
Oh no, I'm
There you go. So let's see here. The under match, the Tokyo Joshi Pro 8-woman tag match. In this case, it was Hikari Noa, Yumi, Mahiro Kiryu, and Suzumi pinning Raku, Palm Harajuku, Haruto Neko, and Mirai Mayumi when Noah pinned Harajuku with a Yoranage at 8:22. This was goofy, light, was fun. Hikari Noa got a hot... Well, okay, it was goofy and light for a while, and then Hikari Noa got a hot tag and started fucking dropkicking Raku like right in the face, including like this really brutal-looking one in the corner. It's like she did not get the message, I guess, that they were just having fun out there. And then Mirai started throwing her variants, which are great, including a great one on Noah. And then Palm Harajuku made me laugh a lot because we had this like string of crazy moves, like string of really cool looking moves, and then she like runs and bounces up the ropes and does a little trip. It was great, her running trip. But yeah, this was a fun and energetic under match. Not a ton else to say about it. So, anyone want to add something about this one?
I thought. I was going to say the same thing.
You both talked over each other there. So what the fuck?
You go first. You go first.
Right. I think we're both about to just say it. Hikari Noa is very good. That's about all my analysis for today. But yeah, Hikari Noa better than AJ Styles.
Yeah, I thought she had good sequences with both Palm and Raku. So yeah.
Someone told me in, I think, Slack that Up girls are better than AJ Styles is no longer ironic. It was never ironic, okay? AJ fucking sucks now, and the Up girls rule. So, it's the gap has just widened. Okay, after that, we had the Ironman Heavymetalweight title. First of all, so we see a vignette of Shota from Ganbare backstage, and he's like running away from everybody. He like bounces into Pokotan and like hits the wall, and then hits the ground with 2 chairs on top of him. And of course, the referee walks by, sees these 2 chairs on top of him, counts 1 pinfall. So a chair became the 1,433rd champion. And then the other chair's on top of the first chair. So he counts another pinfall. And the second chair becomes the 1,434th champion. So the chair enters this match as champion. So God bless DDT is what I really wrote for this. It was great. So the chair comes out as a theme song is just like Isu, Isu, which is like, chair in Japanese. And the crowd's chanting for the fucking chair. And Hirota starts with the chair. So the crowd chants for the chair, and the chair reverses a suplex into its own suplex, and then applies a submission hold. Yoshihiko is next, which the look on fucking Hirota, I guess he had just thrown this chair down to the mat, just fought off this inanimate object, and then Yoshihiko Steve hits, and he makes this amazing face like directly into the camera that like had me like fucking crying with laughter because he's just so upset that he has to fight another inanimate object. So Yoshihiko comes in. Hirota managed to reverse like the big Rana into a powerbomb in the corner. Pokotan comes in next, and now Hirota is like totally fucking despondent over all these fucking weirdo objects and mascots. He tries to eliminate himself before they won't let him do that. And then finally Shota comes in next as a second human. Hirota yells out like Ningen, like human in Japanese, and like runs over and hugs him. He's like so happy. There's another human in the match finally. And then they work together to eliminate Pokotan. And then they, together they eliminate Yoshihiko as well. And then fucking Yuki Kawafuku comes in next, and she decides to do a sexy pose on the chair because she's a Gravure model. And she pins the chair. Well, with reference 3 counts to pin. I have to call bullshit on this pin, okay? The chair is clearly standing. It's like in a standing position. How could you pin somebody when they're standing up, right?
Oh.
The chair had to be the chair was not laying on the mat, folded. That would be pinning a chair. So this pin should not stand. The chair should, the chair should protest to the commission, I guess. But yes, Kamifuku pins the chair with her. They call it a Gravure pin in the recap, which is awesome. To become the 1,435th champion. But yeah, Harukaze comes in, Mina Shirakawa, her partner in Tokyo Joshi, comes in and like immediately turns on her and tries to pin her. That was great. Sagat comes in and finds himself unable to attack them because they're hot, I guess, but then backslides her to become the new champion, and then he chases around Harukaze and Mina like he wants to molest them, which is not the most charming part of this match, honestly. But he finally does grab a pair of boobs. He grabs Awashi's boobs when Toru Owashi comes in. That was funny. And Owashi makes a lot of faces like he's very into it. So that was pretty good. So then everybody, the most amazing spot of this amazing match, everybody's like in, the circle with the leg locks. If you've seen a DDT match, you've seen this spot before. And gorgeous Matsuno comes out next. And, he steps into the circle and he starts to sing. And immediately, there's like a long build-up for this song. So he's like waving to the crowd a little bit. He's like, doing his own thing. And as the camera zooms like up and on his face when he's about to sing, if you look very carefully, you can see the look on Owashi's face. And Toru Owashi looks like he is like smelling a fart or something. Like he's so like disgusted with what is about to happen. And the moment Matsuno starts to sing, everybody jumps up and like attacks him. So you think that's it. But he keeps fucking singing. Like he sings through the entire. They toss her into the corner and he keeps singing. They're like fucking beating him up and he keeps singing. Like he sings through the entire thing. Everybody else gets fucking thrown out. He even no sells the Hirota like fucking I can't forget what he calls it. The fucking one, the KO slap, the chop thing he does to the neck. And at one point, Hirota keeps chopping him in the neck over and over and over again, and it makes like a funny sound while he's singing. So Hirota then finally gets he gets chokeslammed by Matsuno. I think it's Antonio Honda on commentary who just yells out like chokeslam, chokeslam. Like he's so fucking he's like trying so hard to laugh. He's like screaming about it. But yeah, so Matsuno eliminates everybody except Hirota, And then Matsuno finishes his song. He's like, thanks, everybody. And he goes to do the gorgeous superstar elbow and just misses and collapses, and Hirota pins him. And that's the end of the match. Incredible. One of the most incredible things I've ever seen. These Ironman Battle Royals are always awesome, but this was even a good one of those. So I fucking loved it. Thomas, what'd you think of the Ironman Heavymetalweight Battle Royal?
I mean, it was just tremendous, wasn't it? I mean, probably one of the best comedy matches of the year, and I think DDT's had a really good year in that respect, even by their standards. I went 4.25 stars on this because I'm not a coward. I still star rate these. Yeah, it was just tremendous. Gorgeous Matsuno, most outstanding wrestler campaign. Big addition to it, I'd say.
What do you think of this one, Jack? You gonna be the party pooper?
I liked it. I liked this a lot. I thought Harada in this was just fantastic with his facial reactions, and when Pokotan came in, he just decided that he was just going to jump out of the ring. I thought that was fantastic. And then the gorgeous Matsuno thing, normally for a wrestler who I don't find funny or enjoyable most of the time, I thought the singing spot was really creative, and the match as a whole was just incredibly creative. Although the chair pin standing up was really took me out of the realism of this match. So that's why I only went 3, like 4.25. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I liked it though.
Thomas?
I kind of already went, but 4.25. Yeah.
Sorry, Taylor.
Yeah.
Wow,
Taylor.
back to Thomas before me. I would argue that we don't actually know what the shoulders of a chair are. I don't know that that's ever been studied or determined. So I would say that it's to the referee's discretion to determine what he believes to be the shoulders of the chair. I liked it. I do worry Yoshihiko really seems to be getting buried in the booking this year, thrown violently over the top rope. At the beginning, I thought Yoshihiko would last much longer, but unfortunately not. But I, as well, really liked it.
Yeah.
Well, Taylor, in the backstage segments when the first chair got pinned, the chair was flat on the ground. So I think that's precedent. The referee has to respect the precedent. So I would argue the chair was standing up and the chair was screwed.
Chair was screwed.
All right,
yeah,
interesting.
So that was a pre-show match, by the way. That was one of the greatest things I've seen in a long time. That was a fucking pre-show match. DT's awesome. The real opener was Izami Kodaka defeating Shinshiro Takagi with the I can never pronounce this. Isamiyashi-zan. There you go. Isamiyashi-zan. 5:49. Very short match, which might be one of the issues. But, it's just they had a fucking sea of plastic boxes in the ring. The Grabare model lady on commentary seemed like fucking horrified the entire time. It was pretty short, but, it was like as advertisers. The two of them slamming each other on boxes. I wish they got a little longer, but they were trying to keep this show moving, I guess. So I get it. But they had a moment together afterwards. It was I would say a 3.5-star match. Izami dove into a big pile of them at the end because he's a maniac. What do you think, Taylor? I'll start with you this time.
I liked it. I do wish, I understand why it wasn't, but I do wish it was a little bit longer because I was enjoying it. I like that they put them, all the boxes or the cases, whatever you call them, in the ring, as opposed to, I thought they would just be sort of stacked around the ring. I found them sort of laying on the mat, very humorous, and I thought that they were going to walk on them, which I think they attempted and didn't work. But as I said, I think in the preview, I love the plastic cases because I think the fact that DDT uses them so much means that they are not actually painful, but there is something about them when they break that looks very painful. I don't know if it's the shards or the edges of the cases, but I liked it, and I just wish it had been a little bit longer.
And what do you think of this one, Jack?
I also wish it was a little bit longer. The plastic cases, you're right that the fact that they use them, like you say, makes them think it wouldn't be painful. But they really especially when they're getting power bound on the shards, that looks like it'd be very painful. And I like the sound that it makes when they break. I like the comedy of in between the matches, just putting every like half of the plastic cases in the ring. That was pretty funny. And then before like they locked up and just stepping through the cases to get to each other, that gave me a good laugh. Overall, I thought this was a pretty good opener. I went 3.5 on it, but yeah, didn't feel like a waste of my time at all.
Thomas?
I'm with Jack there on pretty much all counts, except I liked it a little bit more. I went 4 stars flat, which is kind of crazy for a 5-minute match, but I really enjoyed it. The spots in the match looked absurd, and just walking through like the sea of plastic boxes and breaking them on the way to just grapple each other. I thought that was really great. So yeah, 4 stars. It's also that sort of thing where like I was so excited to watch this show. I was watching it live, reviewing it for the site, and I was like, okay, I'm into this. So you always get that thing where like when you want to like something, you may end up, overrating it sometimes. But I don't know. I really enjoyed this. I went 4 stars. Love me some Masami Kodaka. Hit another great match on the next show we'll talk about too. So good weekend for him.
Match number 2 for the KOD 10-man tag team titles.
Yeah.
Bringing these belts back. Danshoku Dino, Asuka, Yuki Ino, Mizuki, and Trans Am Hiroshi defeating Super Sasazango Machine, Yuna Manase, Jiro, Ikemen Kurishio, and Hiroshi Yamato and Makoto Oishi. Ino pinned Sasazango with the spear in 13:43. They become the second champions. Before we got the match, while they cleared the ring, we got the PowerPoint, which made it clear why those 2 matches are booked back to back. So basically, Dino's whole thing was like basically he gave like every reason why the match isn't a filler match and why everybody has their own reason to want to win. And then at the end, he basically included a shot at Drew Gulak for stealing his gimmick and said they said something about like an NXT Japan invasion, how they have to, or a possible NXT invasion, how they have to be ready to fight it off or something, which A, was really funny because Ikemen's in the match and he's going there probably. And B, I think it might have been like, I don't know, Emily Pratt or somebody on Twitter who like tweeted out something like, they're doing such a better job already defending their wrestling scene against the fucking the European scene just kind of, I know it wasn't as far along and blah, 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 but the European scene fucking laid down. And Japanese wrestling isn't even taking it laying down, and they're even making fucking jokes about it. So there you go. It does help to have a bunch of really powerful corporations, I guess, but what are you going to do there? The match itself, Yamato, and my favorite highlight was probably Yamato blocking the Danshoku driver with the X. That was really funny. And then we got the big interlude with, first it was like Makoto's internal dialogue about how normally he reversed the panties. Like basically it all went slow motion. We got the internal dialogue. And, he's so busy trying to come up with a baby name lately. That's all he cares about. And then we get one of Ino's dad, who didn't want his son to be a pro wrestler, but he definitely doesn't want to be a loser. And that was enough to get Ino to pin Sasazango. So pretty funny there at the end. And then Dino, Asuka, and Mizuki all wanted the pink belt, which left the others with 2 belts each because they're all fighting all the way to the back with the pink belt. What did you think of this one? I guess let's start with you, Taylor.
I liked it. I will say that I became a little, it was a little bit bittersweet seeing Ohata in the Oishi internal monologue, as she's someone I miss a lot, someone I talked up a lot on this podcast last year. But I liked it. I actually really like Hiroshi Yamato. I've really enjoyed seeing him this year as someone who's sort of started to get more and more bookings in bigger places, or at least places I guess I watch. So I enjoyed it, and I just hope that this 5-person team is able to coexist and maybe defend the titles once or twice in the next 2 or 3 years.
What do you think? Go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, I thought it was actually really good. I always enjoy the slow motion sort of deal in these sorts of matches. So I went 3.5 stars on it. Nice little comedy match. Does anybody else think, this is something that Ewan from the site who reviewed the show with me on voiceofwrestling.com said in his review. Does anyone else think that Yamato resembles a young Matsuno? Does anyone else see that? Because I like when he said that, I instantly was like, "Wow."
Yeah, he kind of does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it. Yeah. Jack, what'd you think?
I never really enjoyed Dino too much, but I thought the time slowing down thing at the end was really well executed, especially when they started wrestling again, but stayed in slow motion. I thought that was really clever. I like the internal monologues and the cameo from Ino's dad. Overall, I thought it was a pretty clever match, and it was comedy that I thought was better than what I don't know. I think I'm starting to come around more on DDT comedy than I used to. So yeah, I enjoyed this.
Match number 3 was a gauntlet tag match. I'm just going to read off the finishes here. Yukio Sakaguchi and Ryoto Nakatsu defeated Katsumura and Koki Iwasaki from Ganbare. Sakaguchi pinned Iwasaki with God's right knee in 355. Nodoka Tenma and Yuki Aino beat them by ring out in 152. Maki Ito and Chris Brooks, the Neo Ito Respect Army, beat Tenma and Aino when Ito pinned Aino with the Flying Big Head in 256. Yuki Ueno and Naomi Yoshimura beat Ito and Brooks when Ueno pinned Ito with the Crucifix pin in 235. And then finally, Ueno and Yoshimura won the final fall over Yukio Naya and Cody Hall when Yoshimura pinned Naya with a lariat in 429. This was good. I definitely didn't, I mean, these matches are kind of so short that you don't have time to get tired of any of them. So it ends up being a pretty fun way to spend, about 20 minutes total probably. But I thought it was funny that the video screen called Nia and Cody Hall the Twin Towers. That was it's like nobody told them. That's not really a great reference anymore. But the last little pairing I thought was a pretty fun tag match on its own, especially the Yoshimura and Nia exchange at the end. I don't know if you really want to slap a star rating on this whole thing, but I had a good time. Jack, why don't we start with you this time? What do you think of the gauntlet tag?
So it was another match I enjoyed. I looked at cage match for the card and then copied it over to my spreadsheet because I'm a nerd. And I thought Yukio Nai and Cody Hall, at least when I checked, they weren't on the match. So when the last team got pinned, I forget who it was. I'm like, oh, this match is over. And then Cody Hall comes out, and I'm like, oh, fuck. But they're Naya, they're all right, I guess. It was a fun match as a whole. My man Yukio Sakaguchi was fun as always. And I really like the Chris Brooks and Maki Ito pairing. I think it's really clever, especially when Chris did he tried to do Maki's gimmick of saying like, "Who's the cutest?" I believe, and then Maki just went at him and was like, "Chris." I thought that was pretty funny. So yeah, an enjoyable time.
Taylor.
Yeah, Maki Ito and Chris Brooks are definitely the hot meme team, I guess you would say. Because that was a big... Scrolling through the Twitter timeline, a lot of the talk was about that team. But yeah, I sort of agree. Cody Hall is not good. And, I thought it was fun enough.
Thomas.
Yes. I thought this was good. I thought this was like a nice little 3.5-star gauntlet match. I really enjoyed the Ganbare team against Yukio and Nakatsu. I think Sakaguchi and Nakatsu are like two of the most underrated guys in DDT, maybe period in Japan. So I like them getting some shine here. They got eliminated pretty early on. But yeah, all in all, pretty fun match, 3.5 stars. I did think it was a little weird to have Nautilus win the match after they just dropped a number 1 contendership match on the last Corkin. I thought that was kind of a weird booking decision, but I guess maybe they're setting them up for the next tag title shot after Brooks and Masataka Nashi. Who knows? But yeah, 3.5 stars for me.
Match number 4, the Independent World Junior Heavyweight title. Of course, the belt that began back in FMW is currently the Ganbare top title. Keisuke Ishii defeated Fuminori Abe with the pink Neo kick in 726 to retain his first defense. This was an all-out sprint from the opening bell, including a bunch of head drop Germans that were really cool. I thought it was awesome. Just right under 4 stars for me. I went 3 3/4. Really enjoyed this. Just maybe wish it had gone a little longer than 7.5 minutes again. But they're trying to keep the show moving. I get it, but They did manage to keep the show to a shockingly only 6 hours total with the dark matches, which is actually amazing for a big DDT show. But yeah, this is really good. Why don't you start, Taylor? What'd you think of this one?
Yeah, I liked it too. I wish it was longer. I went a little bit higher than you. I went 4 stars. 2 guys I really liked went out. Just like the Taichi Naito match, it was a little bit shorter than probably I would have liked, but in this case, I didn't really mind. I still thought it was a really good match. And I thought they did the best with sort of the time they were given. So yeah, I really liked it.
Thomas, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought it was really great. I know y'all are all saying you wish it went longer. I thought this show was paced really well. And so there were a lot of matches that individually I was like, oh, yeah, maybe this could have gone longer. Maybe I would have liked it more. But thinking about the show all in all, I was like, wow, this show is really well paced. And so I appreciated the sprinting nature of a lot of the undercard. And so I actually went 4 1/4 on this. I love myself a good sprint. That's not a thing that really crosses my mind when I'm rating a match. It's maybe if it went a few minutes shorter, or went a few minutes longer, I should say, I would have liked more. I was like, well, in the time they had, I think they did about as much as they could. So I went 4 1/4. I loved it. Keisuke Ishii is another guy that I think is severely underrated. And I think I saw that he's having a title match against Makoto Oishi coming up soon.
Yeah, so I was going to get to that at the end of the show.
Okay, sorry.
that could be awesome.
Didn't mean to jump the gun, but that's going to be great. So yeah.
The UWA World 6-Man Tag Team titles, the greatest belts in wrestling history. 3-way match. Takumi Tsukamoto, Yasu Urano, and Takato Nakano defeated Tetsuya Endo, Mad Pauly, and Nobuhiro Shimatani, and Ken Oka, Yumihito Imanari, and Miss Mongol when Tsukamoto pinned Shimatani at the Dragon Kicker in 909 is their first defense. I don't know. It felt like it kind of came out of nowhere, the finish here. This didn't work as well for me as the last one as far as the sprint goes. I still thought it was good, but 3 1/4 good, I guess. So not a little under my expectations. I do want to give a shout out to Imanari for having a jacket that looked exactly like John Moxley's, but instead of saying Mox, it said sex. That was really funny. So way to go, Imanari. You rule. But yeah, this was a little underwhelming for me compared to what I expected. Thomas, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll concur with you there. It felt a lot like a bunch of people just getting their shit in some respects. I mean, I thought it was pretty good for what it was, though. Endo, as you could expect, is one of the best in the world. I mean, he really shined here. He was clearly the star of the match. So yeah, I'd go 3 1/4, 3 1/2 on it. Pretty solid.
Jack?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I really like Bad Communication song.
Yes. That is a really fun song to karaoke.
It's great.
I have to say.
Yeah. And you never asked me my thoughts on the last match, but I like that one too.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking that in my head. I was like, wait a second, did I forget to call on Jack? And look, this is hard. There's a million matches and there's 3 of you. So Jack, what'd you think of the junior title match? Huh?
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good. I like Funoriabe a lot. He's one of my favorite young wrestlers in Japan, and as a whole, it was a sprint, and I enjoyed it. But I wish it would have been a little bit longer. But yeah, I have nothing to say about the UWA 6-man match. So I just wanted to bullshit about that last match to fill my time to cover the fact I remember nothing about this.
I will note this is the one I thought like there was going to be at least one title change, like interpromotional title change. And in hindsight, I should have seen the one that actually ended up being coming. But I thought it was going to be this one. It was not this one. But sorry, I held on to the UWA titles. Taylor, what'd you think?
Yeah, I'm the same in that, we watched a lot of matches for this podcast, and this is the one I have almost no memory of. I remember the finish, but other than that, I really don't remember anything.
And match number 6, the Princess Tag Team titles, Rika Tatsumi and Miyu Watanabe defeating Saki-sama and Misao when Tatsumi pinned Misao with the Missile Hips. What a great name. 13:46. Neo Bishiki-gun failed on their 4th defense, and apparently their name is Daydream of Rika Tatsumi and Miyu Watanabe. They become the 6th Princess Tag Team champions. First of all, I thought this was pretty damn good. Maybe just a tiny bit disappointing. I went 3 1/2, so a little under what I might have expected going in, but still a very good match. I liked Miyu getting to show off her power. She like slammed them both at once and gave Misao a huge giant swing. That was good. Maybe it got a little bit dull in the middle, and that's where I'm a little disconnected. Maybe this didn't need nearly 14 minutes with everything else getting cut for time. But by the end, when Rika like fired up on Misao, she hit the twist of fate and then the missile hip attack for the pin. That was a good little finish, but definitely maybe felt a little bit out of nowhere. So 3.5. They're very emotional about winning the belts afterwards, which is cool. But there you go. Rika kept trying to like reach out to Misao because they have their connection in the past, and they go way back before Misao became Saki-sama's bodyguard. But Saki-sama basically kept not slapping him away, and Misao did leave with Saki-sama. Start with you, Jack. So apologize for skipping you. What do you think of the Princess Tag Team titles?
I thought it was okay. I went 3.25. I agree with you that it felt a little bit long. If I would have had the choice, I would have took a couple minutes off and put more onto the Ishiabe match. But at the end of the day, I enjoyed it. I really liked Watanabe. This is, I think, my second or third time seeing her because I don't watch as much Tokyo Joshi as I should. But I liked her a lot. And as someone who hasn't watched Tokyo Joshi for a while, it was definitely a different look for Hyper Misao that I'm used to seeing. But it was fine. It wasn't bad. It was just fine.
Taylor?
I thought this was pretty good. In fact, I think it's probably now having seen, the number of matches that Neo Bishiki-gun had with the titles, it's probably sort of the height of what they were capable of. I went 3 3/4, which is what I went for their title win as well. So I'm looking forward to Watanabe and Tatsumi holding the titles because I think that they're really great. But I liked it. I don't know if I thought it dragged. I'm trying to think back if I ever had that thought. I don't remember it. But yeah, I liked it. Didn't blow me away, but liked it well enough for sort of my expectations that I had going in, which I talked about on the preview, which was that, it's sort of one team that's might need to carry the other team a little bit to a good match, which I thought is sort of what happened. So it was sort of what I expected, but good match.
Thomas?
Yeah, this wasn't a work rate classic in any ways, but they told the story they wanted to tell. And I did enjoy the story aspects of the match with Rika continually trying to reach out to Misao. I did, have a little bit of an issue with the finish. I mean, it was like, it should have been like such a big moment. And I thought the missile hip attack being, the big title changing move was a little bit odd, but that's Tokyo Joshi for you. So I went 3.5, I think, which was the same as you, John. Miyu won her first title here. Hopefully the first of many. I think she's really great. And she had a great match here.
Match number 7, the KOD Tag Team Title 4-way hardcore match. Daisuke Sasaki and Soma Takao retain again, defeating Akito and Shima Katsumata, Fuma and Yusuke Kubo, and Minoru Fujita and Daiki Shimamura when Sasaki submitted Shimamura with the cross face lock in 13:24, their 8th defense. First of all, I want to say real quickly, I don't know if they're going to get a lot of talk for it, but I realized when I was trying to think of who my tag team of the year is, it's Sasaki and Soma. I mean, all their matches are really good. They're on their 8th fucking defense of these titles that usually change hands every 2 seconds. I mean, I think they are the tag team of the year. I think that's who I'm going to end up voting for. So I don't know. Is that a hot take? I guess it might be a hot take, but
I think so.
What'd you say?
I said I think so. I think it's kind of a hot take. I thought a lot of their defensive have been a little bit disappointing, but they've picked up a lot as of late. So yeah, I could see it, but I thought their title reign, at least towards the beginning, was kind of dull. It's gotten a lot better though ever since the Peter Pan match.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I like it more than you did. But this match, I thought this was great. I went 3 3/4, just a crazy hardcore spot fest, an amazing finish with Sasaki giving Daiki a guitar shot on a plank on top of 4 ladders. He pedigrees him up on the plank, which was crazy, and puts him in the crossface for the tap out. The ending elevated it probably a little bit for me, like a 1/4 star or something. But I thought this was really fun. Taylor, what'd you think of this one?
I actually felt slightly different about the finish than you did, because it was funny because the finish was very similar to the Extreme Title 3-way at not the last Korakuen, the Korakuen right before that, and that they went up on the table and the finish, I think the finish was through the table and the table broke and they came, crashing down to the mat, which I thought looked a lot crazier than this, with just the pedigree on the table that doesn't break, that happens to be sort of higher up. I don't think the table was supposed to break due to the fact that it was finished on top of the table with a submission. I still really liked the match. I went 4 stars. Shunma, I thought, was really put himself out there in terms of doing some wild stuff. I mean, one of the first moves in the match was him going through that ladder on the outside, which looked really crazy. So still liked it. Maybe a little disappointment with the end, just because I felt like we had just seen that in the previous sort of hardcore match in DDT, but I still liked it.
What do you think, Jack?
I went 4 stars on it. I liked it as a hardcore match. When I first looked at this match lineup, I was like, ooh, Minoru Fujita. I don't know how I feel about this one, but it was just a fun plunder match, really. I mean, that's when they had the ladders with the tables on top of them. I got a little bit nervous for what they were going to do, but I'm glad no one killed themselves. That's always good. But yeah, I went 4 stars on it, and it was a really fun match. And I'll never not like a good, fun, hardcore plunder match unless it's bad. But yeah, you understand what I said.
Well, then it wouldn't be good.
True. I don't know why I'm saying that. I kind of lost my track.
Yeah, I'm with Jack here. I went 4 stars. He kind of covered a lot of the main reasons why I liked the match. Shunma looked great here, I think. Was the main guy that stood out to me. So yeah, 4 stars. Good defense. I think Sasaki and Takao lose these belts at the next Korakuen. That's my read on it. I think that they have Takanashi and Brooks. Calamari Drunk Kings. So I think they lose the belts there. But it's been a pretty good reign for them.
Okay. Everybody remember them at voting time. What fucking tag teams had amazing 2019s?
Axis. Watch some more Noah, John. Yeah.
I haven't watched enough Noah. So
wow, fake fan.
Fake fan.
Match number 9, the Princess of Princess title. Yuka Sakazaki defeating Shoko Nakajima with the magical girl splash in 14-12. Oh, wait, no, I skipped the match.
Wait, you skipped the match.
Yeah. Masahiro Takanashi, match number 8 for the Union Max title, defeating Ryuichi Sekine with the Takatonic in 9:59. So Sekine fails in his third defense. Masa Takanashi becomes the 13th Union Max champion. So this was the big title change, with DDT taking up Basara belt, which was like the cruel hand of irony after Basara has talked all this shit going in about how they were going to steal all the DDT titles they could. DDT steals like their only title, basically, or they're one of their only, because they have the UWA Trios titles too, I guess. But yeah, this was good. I really liked this a lot. I mean, it was pretty much what I was expecting. It was a really good mat wrestling to start. There was like an amusing sequence based around them reversing a armbar in the ropes, which I really enjoyed. And it was just that kind of match the entire way. It never, obviously only went 10 minutes. It didn't have a chance to overstay its welcome. And if anything, I wish it had gone a little longer. It was just really sublime technical wrestling. A lot of like cradle reversals and stuff too at Masa, which he always does. But yeah, I really love the fact that he finally won the big one, basically, which, he doesn't win the big one very often. So Takanashi wins. I gave this 4 stars flat. Awesome match. And afterwards, Isami Kodaka challenged him.
Yes.
And that was the Basara Korakuen, which I'm going to have to watch because it's a rematch of one of my favorite DT matches ever from like 3 years ago for the KOD title. So I'm definitely excited for that. You're the Basara guy here, Thomas. Why don't you start?
Yes, I am. I love me some Basara. Yeah. This was great. I went 4 stars on it. Masa Takanashi is, one of the most underrated dudes in the world. I mean, I think we say it all the time on this show. He doesn't often get enough spots, but anytime he gets a spot, he knocks it out of the park. The Takashita match, the Kodaka match. So you have I feel like there's one other KOD match that he had, like Sekimoto or something. Does that sound right?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. He had it from a while ago. But yeah, I mean, he's tremendous. Ryuichi Sekine, I think he takes kind of a lot of shit sometimes, but he's been pretty good as a champ for Basara. I don't think he's quite lived up to Ryota Nakatsu's run earlier this year. I know I'm kind of getting to the weeds here, but it'll be a good moment for Sami Kodaka to take the Unimax title off on Basara's last show of the year into the new independent status. I think that's kind of a fitting conclusion to their DDT arc, is him winning the belt off of a DDT wrestler and then taking the promotion into the new light. So yeah, I think it's a good story for the promotion, and then also, I mean, the match itself was great. So yeah, 4 stars for me.
Taylor.
I don't have too much to say. I thought the match was pretty good, and was happy to see Takanashi win. I thought it was a cool. Result, and as we already mentioned, sort of a shocking result on a show that I think had a lot of results that weren't too shocking. So I liked it and thought it was pretty good.
What was your star rating?
I would probably go like 3.5.
Okay. And then Jack, go ahead.
This was the match where I got confused as to why all the Basara people had tails, but then I was told it's because they're in the same faction.
Yes.
I'm just not sure.
Of course.
Takanashi has always been one of my favorite DDT wrestlers to watch whenever I've popped in before for them. And this was another enjoyable match. I never really got into it on like a great level, but I still thought it was like really, really good. And so I went 3 3/4 at the end of the day.
Okay. All over the map there with I guess not really 3.5 to 4. It's not over the map. The Princess and Princess title, match number 9. The Yuka Sakazaki defeats Shoko Nakajima with the Magical Girl Splash in 14-12. Shoko fails in her 4th defense, and Yuka becomes the 7th Princess and Princess champion, the 2nd time she's held this title. This was fucking awesome. I mean, look, they went out there and they were in a tough spot, third from the top, a long show, not as long as it could have been, I guess, but still you have to win this crowd over. And the crowd the crowd sounded tired at the start. By the end, they were going crazy. So it's all you really need to know here. I mean, there was a great mat wrestling at the start, some really amazing dives from both girls. I thought this was great. I thought this was really awesome. Just a classic Tokyo Joshi style match. It was just really, really good. 4 1/4. Mizuki cried at ringside on commentary. She was so happy for them for having this great match. Just such a cool little moment. But yeah, this was an awesome match. Definitely don't miss this one. Jack, what do you think of the Prince to Princess title?
Oh, I love this match. This was the match that convinced me that I need to watch more Tokyo Joshi, especially the main events. Yuka sort of won me over for her AEW stuff, Shoko to a lesser extent. But I like Yuka's entrance music a lot. The AAA, that's good. That's good stuff. And it was a really high, fast-paced match, a lot of high spots, and I really, really loved it. I think it's my 2nd favorite match of the night. I forgot about my match of the night, but I still went 4.5 on this one, and I just loved it so much. It was so good.
Taylor.
Yeah, I was the same as John. I went 4 1/4. I thought it was really great. I was also going to mention the moment with Mizuki at the end on commentary. I thought that was really cool. Paying off, obviously, being in the tag team earlier in the year and things like that. But yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was a great showcase of the promotion. And, I mentioned on the preview and both on the audio preview here and the written preview about how I thought that Tokyo Joshi had sort of taken a little bit of a downturn in terms of in-ring quality in their championship matches. So I was glad to see this match really reach the heights that I know that they're capable of. So yeah, I thought it was really great.
Thomas?
Yeah, I'm with Taylor that I think Tokyo Joshi's had a relatively down year compared to their 2018 for sure. Not to say that it's been bad, but this was great. I went 4 1/4, and I can't really kill you for going higher, Jack. This was just tremendous, and it was great to see how they were what are we, probably like 4.5 hours into the show at this point, And, the crowd, probably most of them, weren't there to see these two. But by the end of the match, they completely won the crowd over. And that's just great to see. That's my favorite thing in wrestling is when, two people go out, get lukewarm reactions and have the crowd, living and dying by every move by the end of the match. So, yeah, that's a testament to these two. And I'm really looking forward to this title reign because I think Sakazaki is just a tremendous wrestler. So
now I love what they're doing. They're making her defend against Miyu Yamashita on 1-4 at their big Korakuen Hall show, and that's who she lost to last time on her first defense. So that is like a genius move. I can't wait for that match. I mean, that feels like a gigantic match. So yeah, it's going to be great. Speaking of Miyu, match number 10, the Silken Holdings presents the Dramatic Dream match. Kenny Omega and Riho defeating Antonio Honda and Miyu Yamashita in 21-22 when Omega pinned Honda with the One-Winged Angel. I have a few things to say here. First of all, apologize to Antonio Honda. He was fucking awesome in this match. I don't want to hear all the fucking assholes who were saying he didn't deserve to be in the ring with Omega and how terrible his match was going to be. You got some egg on your faces because he was great in this match, and this match was awesome. That's number one. Number two, Miyu Yamashita. I don't think this is a very horny podcast. I don't think I do a lot of horny chat here. Her new outfit, her new karate outfit, my God. Miyu Yamashita, as the kids say, kill me. That's point number three.
Kids need say that a lot.
Kenny Omega had his old Dr. Wily theme song, which was great. The remix, that was awesome. And then but Rio had her terrible fucking AEW theme song, so that was that took it down a little bit for the theme songs. But yeah, there you go. That's all the pre-match stuff. The match itself, just so fucking good. A total fucking nonstop fun, just fun from the opening bell. Riho was awesome at the start. I thought really carried it for a while until Kenny finally tagged in. The crowd was super into that "you can't escape" thing. There was obviously a lot of people there to see him. And then Yamashita tags in, and Kenny just has no problem at all selling for her kicks, which is great. Until she accidentally kicked Honda when he moved out of the way. I thought Riho was noticeably more stiff here than she has been in AEW. She was really fucking giving it to them with these drop kicks and stuff. And then of course Miyu held the ropes open for Honda to do a dive after everybody else had done dives, but of course he tripped and fell. That was really funny. And then he did his Go in the Fox story and then transition into Too Sweet, where he's he just suddenly goes, Too Sweet, Too Sweet. That was really fucking funny. I was laughing hard at that. Miyu Yamashita really cannot do the Dusty wind up. If you looked at her in the background trying to do the dance, she almost looked like she could not move her hips that way. It was really almost embarrassing. But then they got cut off, and Riho was really having a lot of fun with it. It was clear when she was doing the dance along with Kenny. And then Miyu and Kenny had another great exchange and sees her get the advantage with her kicks. She hits a fucking Sankaku Gary out of the corner. It was awesome. She rocked him with a high kick at one point, and then Kenny fires back by using Honda as a weapon. He powerbound him into Miyu in the corner. Then the spot of the match, and this is the moment that put this match over the top for me, is when Riho, Kenny has Miyu on his shoulders. He climbs the top rope. Riho gets on top of Miyu on Kenny's shoulders on the top rope and does a fucking double stop onto Antonio Honda. I don't give a shit if she's 80 pounds. That looks like it fucking sucked. And God bless Honda for taking that move. And then V-trigger by Kenny, followed up by that really sick dropkick by Riho on Honda. And then Riho dives to the floor to take out Miyu. But then Honda won't take the One-Winged Angel. He counters it and pulls the strap down. Is fucking firing up the punches. I was fist pumping on my couch at this point. And then finally Kenny puts him down another V-trigger and hits the One-Winged Angel. 4.5 stars. This was fucking awesome. This was better than every single Kenny Omega match since the Ishii match at G1 last year. All of them. This is better than Omega and Tanahashi. Don't fucking at me. Jack, what did you think?
So I almost went 5 stars on this. But eventually I talked myself down to 4.5. Not because I didn't enjoy it to a 5-star level, because when it comes to pure enjoyment or fun with the match, this is probably the most I've had fun watching wrestling this entire year. seeing Kenny Omega be happy and like see him like clearly giving a shit again is something that I mean, look, you can think he cares in these AEW YouTube matches or whatever. Just because he's doing shit doesn't mean he cares. But you can like tell just from the moment he steps in the ring, like just how much he took a moment to like just let it sink in, and that was just so great because you could tell that he was motivated. And I'll praise him obviously up and down the street, but the rest of the people in this match were great too. Rio and Miyu had some awesome stuff, and I will admit to at first I'm like, man, why are they letting Kenny get in there with Antonio Honda? What a waste. Yeah, I was wrong on that one for sure because Honda was also great in this one, and really I think this was like the perfect match they could have made. And the Too Sweet thing was great. The double stomp that John mentioned was great. The Dr. Wily entrance music after like they like teased, like they went with his AEW theme, which is also a banger, and then they went with the Dr. Wily. That popped me big, even if I didn't watch much Kenny and DDT as it was happening. But yeah, it was just fantastic all around. I mean, I may have went 4.5, but this match, when it comes on to like match of the year balloting, it'll go probably very, very high, probably top 5 as of right now, I would think.
Thomas, what did you think?
Yeah, this was great. I went 4.25 on it. I think Jack already hit on it, but I mean, Omega just looked so incredibly motivated here. And you could tell he was just having fun with everything. DDT English, always got to give a shout out to them, like translated all the post-match comments, and like you can tell like how much he's enjoying himself. Like there's this one question where a reporter asked him about Gone the Fox, and he goes, honestly, I'd been watching tape and scouting, and I saw it coming, but it was not just Gone, but it was also Too Sweet, and you can just tell he's like so happy to be back in DDT, like goofing around. And so yeah, it's great to see. 4.25, good stuff.
Taylor?
Not to continuously say we were right in the previews, but we were right in the previews.
Hell yeah.
In that we talked about, people thought it would be comedy, and it did have some comedy as we thought it would. But, these guys who people I think mostly think of as, sort of comedy wrestlers like Honda and Hirata earlier or last year, when they need to, when the story calls for it or when the match calls for it, they can turn it up and have a great match. And that's what they did in this match. I also went 4.5 stars. I thought it was really great. John mentioned the moment of Honda slipping out of the One-Wing Angel and firing up with the punches, which really got a reaction. I was watching with former Omakase notorious guest Albert was watching. And he was fired up too, so I really loved it. Like I said, 4.5 stars.
So this was awesome. Big fucking victory lap for everybody who thought this was going to be great. I think I haven't really seen anyone say it's bad, although Joe Lanza hasn't watched it yet, I guess. Look, what I want to say about this, the other thing too, is Kenny, for anyone who doubts the whole thing that Kenny is like, oh, he really cares about this a lot more than AEW, go look at his fucking Twitter timeline or his Twitter feed. He like tweeted about this match and retweeted fucking like 1 million GIFs of it. They got way more than just tweet anything about AEW in like 3 months. Like he was so into this. He was so much more into this than anything in fucking AEW. There's a Dynamite going on tonight where he finally cuts a promo on Jon Moxley, apparently. Obviously, we haven't watched it yet, but like before this, it felt like Jon Moxley's team went nobody. And, Kenny gave way more effort here than he has in pretty much anything in AEW. Not that he had good matches in AEW, but like he was just so into this. And you could tell he was having so much fun out there. So I hope he comes back. I think he will. They teased a bunch of stuff afterwards with, Harashima and Endo and Takashita. So we'll see what happens there. And shout out to Miyu Yamashita, who was great here. And I think she'll get an AEW shot off of this, and she deserves it because she's so fucking good. Main event, Blackout presents the KOD Openweight title and DDT Extreme title. Harashima defeats Konosuke Takashita with the Samato in 25-38. His first defense of the Extreme title. Takashita fails in his third defense, the KOD title, and Harashima becomes the 73rd KOD Openweight champion. So first of all, this is the one thing I guess we all got wrong in the preview, where we all said it was going to be Takashita retaining. LOL, Take wins. But as this match went on, it became more and more obvious Harashima was going to win. especially when they had Kudo out there, as this guy on like hiatus who may or may not ever come back, like really in the Shibata role, like cheering him on. So once they made like that big generational thing, I thought it became very obvious Harashima was going to win here. This started with Harashima like kicking the shit out of him, which is really good. There's a really cool spot where Takeshita like caught the Samato into the walls of Takeshita, which I think he also did a Korakuen and won that way. So, the crowd's going nuts for that. But then, when Harashima's about to get out, he like turns it into a power bomb and then, it goes back into the walls again. And here's where Kudo got up and was like cheering him on at ringside to get to the rope break. So that was really cool. There's Harashima had a giant like reverse Rana off the top, and then he hits him with the a standing Samato, and then a second Samato for the pin. Obviously I kind of went kind of quick there because it was 26 minutes of action, but 4.25, because you got to get to BJW too. This is a really, really good, really awesome match. I would put it below the one they had a Judgment in Saitama a couple years ago. I definitely like that one. Like I think I went 4 3/4 on that one. So this was not up to that level, but it was still an awesome match and a great way to cap a amazing show. What do you think, Taylor?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the match. There's always talk about Takeshita taking these crazy bumps, and of course, the reverse Rana is probably the one that's going to stick out in people's minds the most. But you just sort of see it the whole match. I mean, very close to the beginning, he got reversed on the outside into the ring post, and I think did like a back flip where he hit his back on the ring apron and then came down neck first on the ground on just a simple running into the ring post. So it's always interesting to me to see the wild ways in which Takeshita will put his body on the line. I thought it was 4.5. I thought it was really good. I did get a little bit, I thought it got a little bit in the weeds when Takeshita was going out to sort of argue with the different folks that were on Harashima's side. It just felt sort of like a weird diversion, and the match seemed to sort of stop at that moment, which I wasn't really crazy about, but I really liked it. I liked paying off the story of the previous matches. Not many, some matches do it, but not often. So I thought it was cool to say, oh, they've had these matches leading up, and those matches actually matter more than just, they usually say, oh, psychological advantage or something like that. So I thought it was an excellent match and a really good way to cap off the show.
Thomas.
Yeah, I'm with Taylor there. I was 4.5 stars. Excellent end to the show. My match of the night, actually, I think I preferred it to the Kenny tag ever so slightly. That moment with Kudo, Kudo, like you said, he might not ever come back, but that guy's like, he's one of the best. I mean, I love that guy so much. And just that moment with him just like pounding the mat as Harashima like climbs with everything he has to try to get to the ropes in the walls of Takeshita. And the crowd's going crazy because Harashima had, tapped to it at the last Korakuen. I think he even lost by forfeit to it once during the buildup as well. It's just such a great moment. And then Harashima winning and, getting the big moment at Ryogoku. I mean, just a tremendous end to the show. I am with you that I like their Saitama match a little bit better, but this was still great. Yeah, 4.5.
Jack.
This is a match that I thought was great, but is ultimately going to get wrapped up in like the amount of shows that happened this weekend. And I mean, I didn't even watch Dragon Gate yet because I didn't have the time, but I ended up going 4 stars flat on it, and I did enjoy it a lot. But I didn't enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed past Takeshita main events that I've seen, like the Sasaki one at Judgment, I believe they faced, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I enjoyed that one a lot more than this one, but it's still 4-star match. Show is pretty enjoyable. It's just after the Kenny tag, I kind of was thinking nothing would be as good as that. And these guys, they're 2 great wrestlers, but yeah, I enjoyed it, but only to the 4-star level, not to a match of the year contender level or anything like that.
All right. But overall, I really, judging by what we all said, this is like, it's going to be either show of the year or close to it. For me, it's like right below show of the year because the only thing it's behind is I very slightly prefer Peter Pan, but like DDT is just so fucking good at these big shows, and they basically stay undefeated here, which, Judgment this year would definitely be the weakest of the three, but when that's your weakest one, that's still pretty good. Any other final thoughts on Ultimate Party?
I mean, yeah, it was my show of the year. I think I liked it ever so slightly more than
I'll add
Judgment.
something. I would.
I liked it, slightly more than Peter Pan. Peter Pan peak tire. I think that Endo Takeshita is a match of the year contender, but I think the pacing of this show was much better. I never felt tired watching it because they kept a lot of the undercard, nice and in and out. Ever so slightly, this is my show of the year, and I mean, it's a testament to DDT's year that they have the number 1 and number 2 for me right now, and maybe the number 3, honestly, because that Coming to America show is great too. Show of the year for me. Loved it.
Jack, go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's in my top 3. I don't exactly know where to place things right now. My top 3 would be this show, Kobe World, and the G1 opener in Dallas that I was at, which obviously gets the live bump because that was incredible. But I really like the show. I'd probably give it a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10 if I'm grading it. And really just
it's a 10 for me.
Really fun card, top to bottom.
Yeah.
And I think weirdly enough, like this may have been the longest show out of all the ones that we watched, but it felt like the shortest, especially compared to like the Power Struggle. Felt like it was very long for me to watch, but the show, it took me like 7, 8 hours to watch, but I had fun the entire way through, which is really all you can ask for when you're watching wrestling,
Yeah.
Take Jack.
Taylor?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about it. I don't know. I really loved Peter Pan. And I also loved the Coming to America show. And I was, of course, as you know, was at that show, which might push it up closer to the top. But certainly I wouldn't disagree with anyone who thought that this was the top show. I think we're talking about 3 really strong contenders who, I think any order you put them in, you're picking good shows.
So quickly before we move over to Big Japan, I want to give some upcoming stuff in DDT and the other brands in case you want to know where to go from here. So in just a couple of days, DDT has a show in Shinkiba on November 8th, which actually has a couple big matches. Shimatani's send-off because he's going into his contract's ending. He's going to go freelance, but he's it's not really determined if he's leaving Damnation too, because he says he's still going to wrestle for DDT. But his send-off match from Damnation, it's listed here. He's going to face Shimatani versus Daisuke Sasaki, Soma Takao, Tetsuya Endo, and Mad Pauly. So that should be kind of funny. The semi-main event is going to determine the next challenger for the KOD Openweight title at the Korakuen at the end of the month with Shuma Katsu. It's a gauntlet match with Shuma Katsumata, Mizuki Watanabe, Yuki Ueno, Naomi Yoshimura, Yuki Ino, and Asuka. Personally, I kind of hope Asuka wins that. I think that'd be really good for HARASHIMA. But there's a bunch of options there. It'd be good. And then the main event is the Independent World Junior Heavyweight title. Keisuke Ishii and Makoto Oishi. That could be really good. So that's another one. That's definitely a show I would recommend watching in a couple days, November 8th. Tokyo Joshi Pro goes back at it on November 9th in the Itabashi Green Hall. The main event is a hype match for their upcoming title match. Yuka Sakazaki and Hikari Noa against Miyu Yamashita and Raku. So not a ton else there, but some interesting stuff, I guess. The Ganbare Wrestling show is the same day at Itabashi Green Hall with a Ken Oka Shota main event. Basara has their next show on November 10th. And there's a UWA title match on top there. We have a Rose show on November 12th. Which are always kind of funny. And then I'm seeing if there's anything else of note here before.
Martial arts tournament.
Yeah, the martial arts tournament. And then November 24th, God Bless DDT.
Is that the one with the porn literature death match?
I'm sorry?
Is that the one with the porn literature death match between Tanizaki and Yamato? The Yaru's one?
I believe so. No, maybe not. Oh, yes, it is. Yep. And the Tanizaki and Hiroshi Yamato. Yep. The Sensual Novel Death Match is what it's called.
Awesome.
Awesome.
And then God Bless DDT on November 24th at Korakuen has the first of the Saki Akai Oki Bariyasu 7-match series. The first match, Saki Akai versus Tsukasa Fujimoto from Ice Ribbon. That should be cool. Then we also have the KOD tag titles, Daisuke Sasaki and Soma Takao against Masataka Nashi and Chris Brooks. and the KOD Openweight title, Harashima against the winner of that gauntlet match we just talked about on November 8th. So there you go. That's what's coming up the rest of the month for DDT. And then after that, the DO will get started. So that'll be exciting. All right. So up next, we're going to wrap up the show by going through Big Japan Ryogokutan a little quickly, probably, because we've already been talking more than 2 hours, which I kind of figured we'd have to go through this one a little quicker, given it is like the least important of the 3 shows, all due respect to the Big Japan fans out there. But it did 3,216 fans, so by far the least of the 3 Sumo Hall shows, along with Noah. No, what did Noah do? Like 5,500, right?
Yeah, it was like mid-5s, I think.
So
yeah,
pretty damn
5580 or something like that.
So pretty good there. So the main event, we'll start at the top here again. The BJW Deathmatch Heavyweight title, 4-board Giga Ladder Deathmatch. Izami Kodaka defeated Yuko Miyamoto in 2103 with the Giga Ladder break. This was, of course, the battle of Yankee 2 Kenju. Taylor, what do you think of this one?
I was feeling this was, of course, the last show I watched of the 3 we're reviewing. At this point, I think it was something like I was on my 18th or 19th hour of wrestling in about 2 or 3 days. So I was a little burned out. Wasn't really feeling the beginning of the match, but near the end, I thought they really turned it up and delivered a great match, even sort of not even using any of the sort of death match stuff that they usually use. So I ended up going 4 stars because I thought they really turned it up near the end. But yeah, this was a match I was feeling a little bit of burnout on.
Thomas?
Yeah, I'm kind of inconsistent there. But yeah, this match was actually really good, all things considered. Obviously, you have the restrictions in Ryogoku that you can't use light tubes and the such. So they did a really good job working around that. I ended up going 4 1/4. Was a little surprised that Kodaka retained, given that he's going off to run Basara at the end of the year. But I guess that relationship will continue. And there are a bunch of Basara wrestlers in Big Japan. You have like Tsukamoto and Fuminori Abe. So I guess they'll continue working in the promotion as well. So yeah, a little bit of a surprising result. I went 4 1/4. Really fun match, like Taylor said. Really picked up towards the end. Maybe I would have wished that they put Sakuda in the spot over Yuko Miyamoto. Just get the rising star up on the top of the card here. But it is what it is. Really good match.
Jack.
Yeah, I definitely felt the malaise with this one, especially since I watched it about like 12:30 last night. But it was enjoyable. I definitely felt the Ryogoku restrictions with the no light tubes. I felt like some weapons like that would have enhanced this, but I don't know. I can't call this great because I didn't enjoy it to that level, but stars wise, I'd give it like 3.5, 3 3/4 because it was an enjoyable match. It was close to being a great match for me, but it just never really clicked with me at a level that like I would expect between a title match and the main event of Sumo Hall between these 2 guys.
So I'm more with, I guess, Thomas and Taylor. I went 4 1/4 on this as well. This is like the kind of death match that I generally like, where they're doing a lot of wrestling moves that just occasionally involve weapons like Izami giving him the exploder suplex on the nail board. There's a lot of stuff with the ladder that was cool. Just good wrestling in general because both guys are, good wrestlers. So, overall it was a good match. Miyamoto did like a giant moonsault off the Giga ladder. That was really cool too. But yeah, I thought this was really good. 4 1/4. Maybe if they did have access to the light tubes, it would have been another like 5-star match like we saw with Izami and Takeda last year. But really good match. Did you want to add something, Thomas? Or did you hit that button by accident? Okay, I guess you hit that button by accident. So I'm going to move on then to the Strong World Heavyweight title, Kohei Sato versus Daichi Hashimoto. Taylor, what did you think of this one?
So I think you mentioned it watching the show in the Slack or maybe on Twitter or something. It felt very long, and it felt like a lot of screaming.
There's a lot of screaming.
It actually felt a little bit like the sort of quote unquote cliche complaint about Joshi matches, which is like it's just these women screaming, and that's like sort of the complaint, even though that's not a valid complaint. But it felt like that here, where it was about 2 minutes in and Daichi's already screaming, like he's been in a 35-minute match and it's coming down to the wire, which it wasn't. So I was not a huge fan of this match.
What were your stars, Taylor?
Oh, anything under like 3.5, I don't even bother with. So it was under 3.5.
So Daichi won in 1940 with a rising DDT. Sato failed in second defense, and Daichi became the champion for the second time, the 16th champion. Jack, what'd you think?
I just want to say that Thomas in our Jitsi chat right now is trying to censor me on this match. I do not appreciate that, because let me tell you, so in the past, I have enjoyed Daichi Hashimoto more than most. And I admit that sometimes, a lot of the time, outside of Big Japan, a lot of qualifiers here, he's not the greatest, and he does not try as hard as he should. And even in Big Japan, he does not try as hard as he should. But when he can go, I enjoy him a lot. Like his title reign last year, he had a defense in Korakuen against Kawakami on the 2nd of last year. And then he had another one against Nakanoe that were very good matches. And then he had that one with Suzuki that we don't talk about. This match, I can see all of the complaints for why people don't like it. But at the end of the day, I actually found myself enjoying. Like, I thought I was going to like it ironically, and I was going to do like shtick in the slack with them, like, hey, Daichi did it again or whatever. But by the end of it, I actually found myself enjoying it. There was some cool. Daichi had some good kicks. There was some interesting submission work. Daichi's screaming definitely got to be a little bit much, which is what limited me from going higher than what I did. Daichi may not have had the full crowd behind him, but I heard that there were some moments where you could tell that the crowd were getting into it. And when he won, there was a small pop. Give him the credit he deserves. But at the end of the day, I went 3 3/4, I believe, on this one. And yeah, I mean, I was led to believe that this would be another one of those bad Daichi matches. But I would like to yell at Thomas and John for both lying to me. And the Daichi Defense Squad is in full gear once again. No pun intended of the AEW pay-per-view.
Thomas.
I mean, yeah, this kind of sucked.
Wrong.
I mean, like the shrieking from Daichi, it was
so bad.
It was so bad.
I'm a shrieker on this podcast sometimes, but I don't want to see me wrestle.
Yeah, I mean, Will Ospreay, take some shit. Take some shit for his selling sometimes in the shrieking. I mean, this was that dialed up to like 15. And I mean, Jack mentioned a few of the matches from Daichi's title reign that were pretty good. And I actually concur. I was kind of somewhat on the Daichi Defense Squad last year, but he's completely lost me this year. I mean, his Carnival one was really bad. And this was just not good. And it's kind of unbelievable that they put him in this spot over like Takuya Nomura or somebody that has some potential. So yeah, this gets the big old 2 stars from me. Fucking stunk.
I used to love Daichi. I used to defend him nonstop. Anyone can tell you. It just hasn't been good this year. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I would love to come on here and be like, Daichi's fucking great again. Daichi rides again. Like, this match fucking was not very good. I gave it 2 1/4 for some nice kicks. But like then there was like a long Sato leg lock that just killed the momentum, and the fucking screeching and screaming, especially when the crowd was dead. That's a very bad combo. A crowd making no noise and Daichi just like shrieking at the top of his lungs. So bad match, 2 1/4, below average. I'm probably even being nice. I hope this ring goes better for Daichi in the last one, but I'm not holding my fucking breath. Match number. Sorry, what's that?
Have some faith in my guy.
Okay. Match number 8, the Ryuji Ito 20th anniversary match. Weapons, the Blood and Death history. It's Ryuji Ito and Takashi Sasaki defeating Jun Kasai and Toshiyuki Sakuda in 22-16 after a Dragon Splash by Ito against Sakuda. I'm not going to have a ton to say about this. I mean, it's not, I said the other one was my kind of death match. This one really isn't my kind of death match. It's too much fucking stabbing. I don't need to see people stabbing each other. That's not really my thing. But it was fine, I guess. I don't know. What do you think, Jack?
This was incredibly gross, and it got to a point. especially near the end, where like I'm like, okay, they're gonna wrap this up. They can't get any weirder. And then they brought out the saw board, and then they just started cutting each other's foreheads with like a butcher like thing. I don't know what it's called. That was gross. And then they got the syringes. I think I kind of just started covering my screen around the 15-minute mark because it got to be a little bit much. But I mean, I guess I enjoyed it up until then. I didn't know that they could do a deathmatch this intense in Ryogoku. Oh, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Sakuda attempting to dive off the balcony and then just completely eating shit and probably fucking up his tailbone for like weeks. And let me tell you, I've hurt my tailbone. It hurts.
Yeah. Taylor. Oh, sorry, you weren't done.
No, I'm good.
Okay, Taylor.
Yeah, I think you summed it up pretty well by saying not my type of deathmatch. That's pretty much my exact thoughts. The dive off the balcony was really, I really couldn't believe it. So yeah, just sort of not my type of thing. As someone who's fairly open to death matches, I actually like a lot, and I've spent a lot of time trying to convince others to give it a chance, but this is probably not one I would use to spread the good word of death matches.
I totally agree. Thomas.
Yeah, I really like this. Actually, I went 3 3/4 on it. The exchange where one team had the syringes through their mouths and the other team had the skewers through their mouths. I mean, kind of nasty on the one hand, but on the other hand, I mean, you know, that's something that I enjoy. So I guess I'm the outlier here, but yeah, 3 3/4 for me.
You're a sick man.
I can tell that I are the young, edgy, almost teenagers, and that Taylor and John are the old people.
Of course.
You didn't like it either. What the fuck are you talking about? Anyway,
I gave it 3 3/4. I just was grossed out by a lot. Of it.
Oh, okay, that's what I went to, Jack.
I didn't hear the 3 3/4 part.
I didn't.
All right, match number 7, Daisuke Sekimoto 20th anniversary match. Daisuke, also I would add NXT Japan offer match. Daisuke Sekimoto and Walter defeating Yuji Okabayashi and Yuji Hino in 1725 with Sekimoto's 2-stage German suplex hold over Okabayashi. Look, I would love to come here and be like, yeah, co-opted, I didn't like it at all. It was fucking amazing. I don't know what to say. It was a fucking amazing tag team match. Like, just like from the moment the bell rang until the end, they just fucking killed each other. I mean, this is exactly the type of match that we love Japanese wrestling in the first place. Just 4 big dudes beating the fucking piss out of each other, chopping the shit out of each other, lariating the shit out of each other. Walter did a leapfrog and the crowd went crazy. At one point, he goes crazy with like chops and a drop kick in the corner, and then this fucking enormous German suplex on Okabayashi where he like just fucking tosses him backwards, drops him right on his fucking head. I watched it like 3 times. Just an absolutely insane fucking tag team sprint war. Like just they never stopped. Just went on and on and on. Former guest of the show, Skylar in the Voice Wrestling Discord before, was basically saying, with something I agree with, Walter is a way better tag wrestler than singles wrestler. This is my favorite matches I've ever seen, but all of his other ones too, that as far as like the really hyped matches of his that I've watched, I've always preferred, tags over singles. So yeah, this was the full 5 stars. Absolutely perfection from start to finish. I went back and forth, but like there was no flaw in this match. I mean, this was like a near perfect match. I mean, it was basically a perfect match. I don't know what the fucking flaw even would be. I mean, they were going out there to kill each other, and they fucking killed each other. So I don't know. I mean, I loved it from the moment the bell rang until the moment it ended. So that's a 5-star match. I don't know what else to say. I mean, there was nothing else wrong. There was nothing wrong with it at all. And it slides into 3rd place on my match of the year list because I have 4 5-star matches this year. So I put it right above Naito Ibushi from Dominion, right below Naito Shingo from the G1, and Sari and Meiko Satomura. So, Thomas, what did you think of this tag team match?
I mean, yeah, John, you kind of covered all of it. This fucking rocked. 5 stars for me as well. Match of the weekend on what was, quite the up and down show. I was watching this live. I think this was probably around 3 a.m. local time for me. And I was wired after watching this match. The Daichi match actually made me fall asleep a little later in the show. But after this match, I mean, just absurd. I mean, these guys the chops in this match. I mean, these are probably four of the top like 25 wrestlers in the world today. I mean, just big beefy dudes slapping the shit out of each other. Like John said, I mean, that's why you watch Japanese wrestling. That's how I got into it. 5 stars. I mean, a match of the year contender for sure. I loved it.
Taylor.
Wow, I guess I have to be the downer here. I'll just start by saying I did like it. I only went 4 1/4. I think Robin Reed was in the Voices of Wrestling Slack today, and I think described largely probably why I was not as high on it as others, in that really there was no story to it. I'm someone who, I think I've mentioned on this very podcast before, that I always prefer my stories in my wrestling, which this one didn't have. And I just felt like it was enjoyable to me, but never really got to that level. Maybe it was that I think I had heard from you, John, that you had gone 5 before, so maybe it was a victim of expectations on that one end. But I really enjoyed it, but just didn't rise to that top level for me. Maybe what would help is that when this match is on the WWE Network in 6 months, maybe the Michael Cole commentary will get it to 4.5 or maybe 4 3/4.
Oh, fuck you, Taylor.
The first person I want to say that gave this 5 was Kevin Hare in the building. So shout out to Kevin, who was on last week's episode. But yeah. Jack, what'd you think? Jack.
Oops, I had my mic muted, and I was in the middle of burying Taylor. Anyways, I enjoyed this match. I loved it. I went 4 3/4, so I am a coward. But for me, when I gotta give a match 5 stars, I gotta feel it in all of my bones, and I didn't feel it entirely at the end. It has to be instant reaction, 5 stars, and I didn't feel there. However, this was incredible. And if you ask me to name a beefier, more like manly match, I don't think I can name one. And really, it was incredible. And it sucks that Walter signed with that stupid show that doesn't even exist. It blows so hard. And seeing the NXT UK belt, which apparently is a real thing, on a Big Japan show, was a real bummer. That thankfully the match and the match after this one was able to cheer me up a little bit. So, but yeah.
I mean, if this is like the beachhead of the invasion, that sucks. But I mean, it was a real good beachhead. What do you want me to tell you? It was 5 stars.
Yeah. After the match, I mean, Okabayashi pointed at the NXT UK belt, and like my heart just like sunk. I was like, oh no,
it's gonna happen.
Fucking NXT UK. That doesn't even exist. Okay, it doesn't even exist. Rover, stop it. It doesn't exist. Anyway.
I'm not even convinced Rover exists.
That's true. I mean, maybe that's why I liked it so much. It's just one big swirling mass of non-existence. The BJW Junior Heavyweight Title Survival 4-way match. Yuya Aoki defeating Tajiri, Tatsuhiko Yoshino, and Kodoseki Fuda to make his 4th defense. This was whatever. I mean, look, Tajiri goes out early, gets cradled by Yoshino after he ducked the green mist. Seki Fuda took it right in the face, so that was 354. Then Yoshino eliminated Seki Fuda with a cradle when Tajiri stayed on the ramp for some reason and gave him the red mist. And then Aoki gets a dose of blue mist, but manages to kick out of the cradle. I don't know why Tajiri was helping Yoshino. I have no idea what was going on here. And then Aoki finally puts away Yoshino to retain. Very goofy, just kind of there. 2.5 stars. Anyone got some hot junior title takes, or can I keep going?
I thought Tajiri was very funny.
Yeah.
So yeah,
wasn't very good though. What'd you say? Sorry.
It just sucked. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. The tag strip death match: Masashi Takeda and Takumi Tsukamoto, the Crazy Lovers, defeating Masaya Takahashi and Ricky Shane Page to 11:37 after a tag strip Zudon by Tsukamoto. on Takahashi. This I'm not a deathmatch expert, but this didn't seem anything special to me. Just kind of there.
I thought the tack strips looked incredibly lame. It was clear that they were the stand-in for light tubes, and they really didn't do the job to me. I mean, I think the sort of summation of the match was, I don't even remember who, but someone was trying to knock one of the strips into Takeda's head and let go, and the strip just sort of fell sadly to the ground. I think they were trying to do like a helicopter spot with it, and it didn't work, and that sort of was just a great summary of the match of being like, oh, this could be cool. Oh, never mind.
Anyone else want to add something about this one?
Kind of just a standard little undercard death match.
Yeah, the tag strip sucked.
Strong Hearts defeating Strong BJ. Shihiro Irie, T-Hawk, and El Lindaman beat Hideyoshi Kamitani, Takuya Nomura, and Fuminori Abe in 9:16 when Irie used the Beast Bomber on Abe. This was really fun. It was a nonstop action, especially down the stretch. And I thought Irie was really the standout in the Strong Hearts team. I thought he looked great here. I went 3 3/4. Anything to add, Thomas?
Yeah, I kind of thought this rocked. I went 4 stars on it. The Astronauts team of Nomura and Abe is just such a fun team to watch. I love both guys, but they really shined here, even low on the card. Strong Hearts in Big Japan have been really good. No one's seen it, really. It's getting no hype, but their matches from the Tag League that I've seen have both been really good. So, yeah, shout out to this match. 4 stars flat for me.
Taylor.
I thought T-Hawk and Abe had a really good sequence late in the match. I liked it a little bit less. I think I went 3.5. Still thought it was a fun undercard match, but enjoyed it, but maybe a little bit less than others.
Jack?
Yeah, it was a really good match. I'm always down for some El Lindaman, and Takuya Nomura is another one of my favorite young wrestlers in Japan. Him and Abe are usually great, and this was another probably the best undercard match. Yeah, it was the best undercard match.
Match number 3, Big Japan versus All Japan. Jake Lee and Naoya Nomura defeating Ryuichi Kawakami and Kazumi Kikuta, with Lee using a backdrop suplex on Kikuta in 11:30. I thought this was good, maybe a little disappointing in that, I thought they had a really awesome match when it was Lee and Iwamoto against the same team back at, maybe it was the fucking, what the hell's the Yokohama show? Endless Survivor, right? In May? That's what that's called. I think that's where that match happened. But it was a really good match. I thought that was like a 4-star plus match. And this was like, it was 3.5. It's pretty fun, but nothing that like blew me away or anything. It did really make me want to see a Jake versus Kawakami singles match because they had a couple really great exchanges and brawl to the back. So hopefully we do get that. Anyone got something to add here?
3.5 stars.
Yeah. Taylor, Jack?
Nothing to add.
Match number 2, Abdullah Kobayashi, Hideki Suzuki, Shinobu, Orka Uto, and Drew Parker defeated Great Kojika, the Great Sasuke, Brahman Shu, Brahman K, and Kankuro Hoshino in 6:26 with a Kobayashi diving Bakachinga elbow drop on Hoshino. This fucking sucked. And I usually like the Brahmins. Like I usually am a Brahmin apologist. I usually find them funny. But the comedy here was not funny. It was just very boring comedy. 1 star. This was not good. This was very bad. Anyone want to add something here about this terrible match?
I hated it. I can't believe I wasted my time on it. It was only 6 minutes, but it felt like 60.
Thank you for coming on the Brahmin hate train, John. I mean, that's been your worst take for a while now. So.
They're usually good. They're usually funny. I watched them in a fucking cage match in Michinoku Pro, and they were fucking hilarious. But this was just bad.
Daichi is better than the Brahmin.
I don't know if that's true.
Wow,
God. Yeah, the Brahmins are. I guess I don't dislike them, but I think if all of a sudden I was moved to an alternate universe where they didn't exist, I don't know that I would be all that sad about it.
I mean, I wouldn't either. really. I mean, what the fuck? If they're just a comedy act.
Okay, all right. Yeah, but I also did not enjoy this match.
And, they're not even like my favorite comedy act. I just want to confront Thomas here because he's acting like I'm president of the Brahmin fan club. I enjoy them, but I could deal without them. Anyway, they didn't get to do anything here. They weren't really like doing any Brahmin comedy. It was just, I don't know what the fuck this was. This was fucking bad. So there you go. The opener was Ryota Hama, Yasufumi Nakanoe, and Kazuki Hashimoto, defeating Takuo Kato, Akira Hyodo, and Yuki Ishikawa in 8:53. Nakanoe used a lariat on Kato. This was a fun opener, 3 1/4. Not a lot to say about it. Anyone want to throw something in there?
Yeah, it was 3 1/4 as well. I think Big Japan's young guys are actually really good. I think Hashimoto's getting the next junior title shot. I think you mentioned that, John, so that'll be good. Yeah, 3 1/4 for me as well.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
Taylor?
Same.
The dark match, Yurishi Taniguchi and Masaki Morihiro defeating Kikutaro and Kosuke Sato in 7:24 with a Mori lock on Sato. This fucking sucked. Okay, this is the other thing on the show. Like, Big Japan comedy is very hit or miss. It's sure fucking missed on this show. If you're like, this made the guy rubbing his crotch, his butt, and Kikutaro's face. Like, anyone who complains about Don Shokudino's have to watch this match and be like, wow, I never realized what like high art Dino is compared to this. This fucking sucked. Want to throw anything else in?
Yeah, it was bad.
I guess I have a question that I was thinking of as I watched this match. Kikutaro feels more like he's famous in America for supposedly being famous in Japan than he is actually over in Japan.
That is true.
No, he was
like, he feels like someone who comes over and they're like, this guy is the Japanese comedy legend. And then I watch all these Japanese shows and he's like in the
fucking
opener
undermatch here.
So I'm just like, I feel like going back years ago when I first heard about him, it was like, this guy, he's an absolute, I would think that from what sort of the buildup that I always heard from him, he would be like a Honda guy, where Honda is usually, Honda's a big deal in DDT. And Kikutaro, I feel like I see him more in the US than I do in Japan.
Can I interject? I think
yes, of course.
I think if Osaka Pro had caught on and stayed as a big thing, he probably would be like Honda. Like, because he was a big deal in his own promotion. Like, those clown matches, like him against whatever the fuck the other clown was, Kamen or whatever, Kabiko. I don't remember what the fuck his name was. Something Kamen. Thank you. They were a big deal. I mean, I remember there was like one on a major Osaka Pro show in like fucking Osaka Joe Hall or something that was like a semi-main. So like they were a big deal in Osaka Pro. The problem is his promotion died, a terrible death, and did not stay around. So I think he is like probably what Antonio Honda would be if DDT had died, if DDT just like, if he left him without a home. So yeah, I mean, now I think for sure he's a way bigger deal in America than he is in Japan. But, it just comes down to, I think, just not having a home promotion and just not having home fans anymore. So I think it's, he is what he is now. But I think 15 years ago or 10 years ago or whatever, probably more like 15, I think he actually was a pretty big deal in Osaka Pro. So that'd be my answer. I don't know. Taylor, do you disagree?
No, I don't disagree because, frankly, I don't really know anything about Osaka Pro. So whatever you say, I'll believe, John.
Okay. If somebody's like, I'm not an Osaka Pro expert by any stretch, but I definitely remember him being a big deal, like at the time, like on the internet and stuff as a Puro fan. But maybe that's just maybe that's, again, like you're saying, my weird Western viewpoint. I don't know. I mean, it's fucking Kikutaro. Why are we still talking about this? Any other?
Because it's better than talking about the match.
Yeah. Thomas, what were your thoughts on this amazing opener, this amazing dark match?
I was writing the written review for this show, and I was still getting all set up while this match was going on. So I didn't really see it. So sounds like a good thing.
Yeah, it sucked.
I'm going to expose
All
you.
right.
Rated this 2 3/4 in your spreadsheet.
Well, like I said, I was
You were
kind of only
wrong.
half watching it. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, Jack. Spreadsheet snooping.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Break it up. Break it up. As far as the show overall, I would say it's easily the weakest of the three shows we talked about here. I mean, it had two awesome matches. It had a 5-star match and a 4 1/4 star match, and a bunch of other stuff that was that ranged from being pretty good to being pretty bad. So, to being just there. So, obviously, I would say if you're short on time, definitely watch the main event, watch the NXT Japan offer match. Maybe throw in the Strong Heart 6-man and the Jake Lee tag because they're not even that long. But the rest of the show is very skippable, I think. I guess Jack would tell you watch Daichi and Sato. None of the other three of us would agree. So
look,
Please don't.
I'm realistic about my love of Daichi. There's going to be like 2 people who listen to this that'll dig it like I did, but that's okay. I'm always, I'm a big hipster with my fandoms of Daichi Hashimoto, Kenny Omega, and Will Ospreay. So, what can I say?
All right, so we can wrap it up here. Jack, Mr. Hipster, go ahead and plug whatever you want to plug.
If you want to get updates on the Daichi Defense Squad, you can follow me on Twitter at Packerman120. Just kidding, I never tweet. And now that I'm getting back into wrestling more, I think I'm going to write some more stuff for the website, hopefully review some shows. It definitely won't be the World Tag League, which fucking sucks, but maybe some other stuff. So stay tuned. But yeah, Packerman120 on Twitter.
Taylor?
As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Tamaimbo, Tamaimbo. And John, I don't want to step on your upcoming preview, but I will be back yet again next week, 3 times in a row, a podcasting superpower. So follow me on Twitter and keep up with me at Voices of Wrestling.
Thomas.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Wrestling Ratings. Great handle. I reviewed the DDT show and the Big Japan show on the site, so you can check out the written reviews there. Shout out to Virginia basketball. We're up 15 right now against Syracuse. Good open to the year. That's all I got, John.
And of course, you can follow us on Twitter at WrestleOmakase. Wrestling Doesn't Fit. Folks, you can also, him saying that just now reminds me that I did the written review of Power Struggle. I never do written reviews, so definitely check that out if you want to read what you already heard me say, I guess, because I pretty much the same shit. Next
really
week,
selling it, John.
Next week, we're going to be back here, Omakase 119. As Taylor mentioned, he's going to be on. Also going to be on, he begged me for the opportunity. He got down his hands and knees. He put his hands up to the sky and said, John, please let me plug. I don't know if they've already revealed what it is. Please let me plug this thing to your gigantic Omakase audience, your huge audience that for some reason they won't give you a fucking ad. Everybody else in this fucking network is talking about chopping their fucking balls off or whatever, but we're not. So obviously we have a huge audience. But yes, next week, Aaron Bentley from Everything Elite will be on here along with me and Taylor. We're talking a real mix of shows here. We're going to talk Noah, the November 2nd Sumo Hall show. You may have noticed that was the only Sumo Hall show we didn't talk about. It's because it hasn't fucking aired yet. It's going to air on the 10th, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Seedlings November 2nd show, which airs on the 8th on Samurai. We're going to talk about Stardom's November 4th show, which is slowly airing piecemeal like normal. And I guess we're going to talk about fucking AEW Full Gear. So we'll talk about that too. I'm very excited to talk about some full fucking gear. Why is it called Full Gear? Can anyone answer the question?
Why
is it called?
Isn't it based off what's his face's
Hangman Page.
Hangman Page?
So it's a BT, right? It's a beat. So there's no other reason, right? It's a fucking BTE joke.
Well, now that they've started the TV show, now that they have all their full gear, I don't know.
It's so stupid. It's like the dumb. Like they are if they are objectively bad about anything. At anything other than, first of all, they're really bad at theme songs. Second of all, fucking names. They're really terrible at names. Like, how many times did Tony Khan book a TW fed before he did this finally with his billions of dollars. Couldn't he fucking come up with some better names than Full Gear? Anyway, that was my Jack would like to speak. Jack, what do you want to say?
What do you think about Judas? Good or bad?
Ooh.
Well, look, he's bad because he got caught with the
Incorrect.
with Mr.
Song.
Trump Jr.
The song,
So-
Joe.
Only.
The song.
Oh, the song. Well, look, he is the Judas in my mind, so obviously I didn't know about the song. Yeah, the song is
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Anyway, let's wrap this fucking show up. Thank you all for coming. Jack, what do you want to say?
No,
Jack
I
would like to speak.
accidentally clicked it.
All right, what a way to end the show. All right, folks. We'll see you back next week for all those shows I just mentioned. Thank you as always for listening. See you next time.